Didn't Jared tell you that the best pass of his career was the touchdown to Amon-Ra St. Brown in the game?
Yeah.
That moment, boom, couldn't contain himself. It's I just Lions?
That's awesome.
For 30 straight seconds, right? Just getting up and walking around.
On today's Part of My Take, we have our good friend Field Yates, actually a recurring guest because he helped us prank Mike Florio a couple of years ago. Good friend of the program. He actually, it's kind of weird, PFT. We got guests changing their flights for us. So Jerry O'Connell on Friday flew into Chicago. Field Yates extended his stay in Chicago just to be on the show.
Let's not book Mark Wahlberg on the show. We could have another national security.
That's true. That's true. Field Yates was great, though. We did an entire preview of the NFL. He gave us some fantasy little sleepers here and there. Very smart guy, knows the league. Get us ready for football being back this week. We're going to talk some college football, a lot of great college football the last, whatever it was, 5 days in a row. Who's back of the week? The boys are back. We have a show today. We have a show Wednesday. Then we have a show Friday. And it's all brought to you by our friends at Coors Light. Game day just got a whole lot chiller because this season you can take your whole tailgate to the next level with the Coors Light Chill Throne. The only seat specifically designed for tailgating all game day long with features like Bluetooth speakers, stadium turf leg rest, a cup holder that chills your Coors Light to a perfect 36 degrees Fahrenheit, and a Coors Light can tap draft to pour one for a pal. The Chill Throne is the innovation every tailgate has been waiting for, so let your friends bring the grill, the flat screens, and the cornhole. You bring the chill with the Coors Light Chill Throne, and starting now, you could get the PMT Chill Throne. Yep, the PMT Chill Throne that's been on the show all season, signed and sat in by us and our guests. So you'll see it coming up when we start doing the streams for NFL Sundays. And we're going to be sitting, one of us lucky guys is going to be sitting in the Chill Throne every Sunday. So we're going to auction that one off for people on eBay. Auction is live 9/28 to 9/30. That's September 28th to September 30th. And you can bid to become the MVP of your entire tailgate. Game day will never be the same. The PMT Chill Throne is going to be awesome. Coors Light has knocked it out of the park with the Chill Throne. It is the best seat in the world for the best beer in the world. There's nothing better than the fall and Coors Light. A perfect marriage. I can't wait to watch some football, crack open an ice-cold Coors Light. The mountains on the bottles and cans turn blue. So go check it out right now. You can also shop the Throne at shop.CoorsLight.com/ChillThrone, or stay tuned for the PMT Chill Throne auction. Again, starting on September 28th, one of you lucky listeners is going to have a chance to win the chair we're sitting in, signed by us. The Chill Throne is incredible. Thank you to Coors Light. They did it again. They've reinvented the chair. So people thought it couldn't be done. Coors Light did it, and that's why we love Coors Light, the best beer in the world. And thank you to Coors Light and the Chill Throne. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Part of My Take. Today is Tuesday, September 5th, and PFT, college football is back.
Football is back, baby.
Football is back.
I have a question for you, Big Cat.
Yes.
Do you believe now?
Yeah, well, I believe now.
Do you believe now?
So I wanted to start with Deion, but I want to do even take it to a macro level. The Pac-12 is back.
Oh, okay, fully.
So the Pac-12
Did Deion
is back.
switch the balance of college football?
The Pac-12 is dead. We know that. But for one last year, they're back. You ready for this stat? This is from Greg Mroz, M-R-O-Z. Greg Mroz.
Like Justin Mroz?
Yeah, exactly. Since 1980, no conference has ever won their first 13 games of the season. The Pac-12 did it this year.
That's pretty spectacular.
That's pretty insane. The last year of the Pac-12, and the Pac-12 went 13-0 to start the season.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, shout out Deion, though.
Yeah.
Nobody believed in Deion. We believed in Deion.
Love it.
I know we picked him off air. We talked about it off the air. We didn't say it on the air. But we believe. We believe in Deion. I believe in Travis Hunter. I believe in Travis Hunter.
129 snaps.
So he played 129 snaps. He had 11 catches for 119 yards on offense. On defense, he had 2 tackles and an interception. Now, their defense wasn't spectacular, but they did enough to win. This is a crazy stat here. You ready? The last 2 players with 20 receptions and 3 interceptions in a season are Chris Gamble and Champ Bailey. Travis Hunter already has 11 receptions and 1 interception.
Yeah. It hasn't been done.
Wild.
What he did hasn't been done in 20 years. Deion Sanders was incredible. 510 yards, 4 receivers with 100 yards or more. Shout out Sean Lewis, the OC. He's a Badger from Kent State. He went, he was a head coach at Kent State, was like, I'm going to go to Colorado. I'm just going to fucking turn this thing up with these guys. That game was awesome. Deion pisses people off so much. I love Deion Sanders so much because he makes our job easy, because Deion is basically the tree of life in Avatar for takes. So people get so upset at what Deion's doing. And Deion also like the receipts and going and just attacking reporters, which I love. Then we had an entire discussion about reporters being fanboys and how Deion's wrong for saying that like people doubted him. That's not their job. And it's like, well, no, Deion's pumping himself up. This is what Deion's doing to get his team motivated, to get his school motivated, to get his program motivated, to going from a 1-win season to then beating the national title runner-up as a 20.5-point underdog at their home stadium week 1. It was shocking and awesome and everything. So Deion, the takes that I saw, I have 2 that I want to share with you, PFT. One is from Sed Golden, who, when we started the discussion about fanboys in college football and people being like, well, we're not supposed to say that, Deion's calling out receipts. That's not our job. Our job is to objectively report. And it's ridiculous that he would like say this. Sed Golden said, don't get me started on the blurry line between fans and journalists, wearing the team's colors to the game, saying we during reports, etc., makes me physically ill.
He's, you know what he is? He's we-fended by that.
Yes.
Shout out Jim Harbaugh for the great offense. We don't have offense, defense. We have we-fence.
Jim Harbaugh, who passed away tragically
that was
over
tough.
the weekend.
His players went out there, lined up information for him in remembrance of the legacy that left behind at Michigan. It was tragic.
They were wearing free Harbaugh shirts getting off the bus.
They should have wear the black patch.
He did self-impose that punishment. I know that it's bullshit. We stand with Jim Harbaugh against the NCAA, but that was by the technical ruling. He suspended himself.
Yeah,
and they're like free Harbaugh.
In the big metaphor, it was suey season for Jim Harbaugh.
Yes.
And then they lined up to remember their coach
and held fours.
Held their fours up for
Held
Jim.
their fours in his formation. But yeah, the journalists are very upset. It's physically ill. Sed Golden has his head next to Ben Verlander in the toilet right now.
I'm gonna be sick.
Yeah, they're like, here, you hold my hair.
About this.
Yeah, I hold yours. Shohei and people journalists rooting for teams.
So I don't mind what Deion did, which is basically he took some questions and then if he didn't like what the journalist had written, he'd be like, I saw what you wrote about me. He basically said, you're fake news. Next question. And if the reporter prognosticated this game, got it wildly incorrect, what was going into it, then Deion has every right to be like, you don't know what you're talking about.
And again, he's using it as motivation for himself. This is how Deion runs. Like this is what you get. He's very transparent with who he is, and it works.
And the funny part is, you'll get people that stand up for the journalists because journalists overall have an important job to do in society. I would say if they do it correctly and they do it well, but you can't get mad at Deion Sanders for not answering questions when you then get to go ahead and you write 700 words about Deion Sanders not answering questions because you're fulfilling your own content right there.
Exactly. Back to the Deion Sanders is a tree of life.
Yes.
For takes.
Yeah. So
he keeps the world going.
Yes. So he's well within his rights to be like, I'm not answering your question. It's like when Marshawn Lynch before the Super Bowl was like, I'm just here so I don't get fined. And all the reporters are like, I can't believe this guy won't let us do our jobs. I know what I'll do. I'll write 2,000 words about how he won't let us do our jobs. Right. Boom. He gave it to you. When Cam Newton, when he didn't answer questions after the Super Bowl, what a classless piece of shit that guy is. I can't believe I can't follow a column. I'm on deadline. Oh, wait, I'm currently typing my take right now about how Cam Newton is a classless piece of shit.
Yes, the journalists should be thanking their lucky stars that Deion Sanders is part of college football because he makes it more fun.
I'm sure it doesn't feel good not to have a warm, fuzzy relationship with the coach of the school that you cover.
Should have said they were going to win.
You should have just sucked his dick.
Yeah, you should have said it. Should have put on a jersey and said they were going to win.
It's not rocket science what you have to do here. There's a reason why why we just kiss all of our friends' asses all the time.
We coming, we came.
Yeah.
I think Deion said that afterwards in the post game.
Yeah, that's Vinny. Yeah. I came.
Yeah. The other one, this one was great. So there was also like Deion obviously said something about how he pisses people off because his black head coach with 75% African-American team. I think Deion is using everything just to motivate himself and his team, which I love because it works. That's what he does. So then there became a whole discussion about that. And there was videos of TCU students saying "fuck you, Deion Sanders" before the game. There also was a video that was incredible of TCU student section saying "throw it to Hunter," and then Travis Hunter made the goal line interception, which was an incredible play. That was beautiful, beautiful karma.
Credit to the person that was taking that video too, because they had the presence of mind to reverse the camera angle right after the interception, and all the kids were like just stone faced, like oh my god. And then somebody goes like, "Who said that?"
Yeah, I think it was the guy who was holding the camera said it. He's like, "Who said it? Put your hand up." So anyway, a big discussion started, and then Clarence Hill Jr. tweeted this out, which he then deleted because he got just dunked on royally. But he said, "You think opposing fans tell Nick Saban or Mac Brown F-word you?" He wrote out word, F-word you, before the game, or is that reserved for Deion Sanders? I've been on sidelines before and I haven't heard it. The very first reply was from 2014 when on the CBS Game of the Week, the loudest "fuck you Saban" chant was happening in Baton Rouge. Yeah. And then he was like, oh, whoops, I probably fucked this up. But again, Deion Sanders, take machine. Like, I love that everyone has a feeling about him. And they're like, let me get some takes off. And they're usually wrong and stupid, but they're great for the ecosystem.
And he's great for the sport.
Yeah.
He's awesome for the sport. We love having these polarizing coaches that you can get your takes off about. So I'm glad. I'm happy to see what Deion did. You know what? I think they're going to win by 30 next week in Nebraska. I'm just going to say that. That way, Deion, you hear me saying this. You can't get mad at me. I'm on your side. You're going to win by 30 against Nebraska.
It's also the minute, like, I don't think Colorado's going to go undefeated. I probably shouldn't say that, but
I do.
They have a very tough schedule, okay?
I think they will.
Already Deion has proven that he's turned this whole thing. They won one game last year.
Well, so a lot of the conversations about Deion, rightfully so, but his son, Shedeur,
incredible.
Is one of the best quarterbacks in the country now, it looks like.
And everyone was asking, can he take the step up? And he did that, like, more so than we all expected. But people will... When Deion takes his first loss, the world will come at Deion, and that's how this goes. It's just a pendulum that's going to swing back and forth. That's going to be so much fun to watch. And we are Deion guys. I'm hoping they go undefeated.
Be sick.
But you know that's coming.
Yeah.
But Deion doesn't care.
No, he doesn't care.
He knows that that's coming. He knows that he talks shit, but he backs it up more times than not.
That's going to give him more motivation.
Correct.
Once they do start losing.
They're going to have to come again.
They're going to get better once they start losing. It's going to be wild. So, yeah, people are saying that I saw a lot of takes out there about how TCU's defense sucks and how, this isn't indicative of what they'll be able to do for the rest of the year. And they have the recency bias of the last game that TCU played where they got smoked in the Natty. But according to Jim Nagy, who runs the Senior Bowl, they've got like 3 or 4 future NFL players in their secondary.
Right.
So they're actually not that bad of a defense. They're a little bit undersized up front, but that's if you're talking about like their secondary, they're very talented. So this was not.
They're 20.5-point favorites.
Yeah, this was not a fluke. Shedeur Sanders is a fucking monster at quarterback.
He's going to be very good.
Really good.
Yes. All right. So other stories.
Also, those white Colorado uniforms looked awesome.
So good.
Now they
so
look
clean.
They look like shit when they're getting their asses kicked. But when they win wearing those, they look really good.
It's also very funny, and this isn't supposed to be against Nebraska because they should have won that game against Minnesota. That was unfortunate. They somehow figured out a way to get Matt Rule, who is going to probably write their program and then just play the most Scott Frost game ever. They got to just flush that out of their system. But it is very funny that Nebraska and Colorado, which used to be like a great, great rivalry, that's going to be a huge, huge game on Saturday. And Colorado's back before Nebraska is.
Yeah.
Like they somehow beat them back. A team that had no hope and was like in utter despair has beaten Nebraska to the back meter.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Nebraska can win on Saturday and that they get more back. But right now, Colorado is more back than Nebraska.
Yeah. Now, if Texas wins on Saturday, they're more back than Colorado, I think.
Oh, yeah. Texas and Tuscaloosa for sure. Absolutely.
We were on backwatch right now.
Yes. Other big moments. Florida State is back.
Yep.
That was an incredible second half against LSU. I listen. We love the people of Louisiana. We love the fans of LSU, but this is the same conversation we had last year. You got a coach that is probably the least likable person in the world, outside of maybe Urban Meyer. And so when they lose, like I feel bad. Yeah, Bill Cosby, maybe like they're all in the running.
It's a short list.
Yeah, in terms of football coaches, though, he's probably the most least likable football coach in college football right now. So when you lose, I can't feel bad because Brian Kelly's so unlikable as a person. And I do feel bad for LSU fans because I love LSU fans. But this is you went from like the most likable guy in Coach O to Brian Kelly. And so when you lose on a national stage, there's a little bit of like, haha, look at Brian Kelly and his mad face.
For sure. It was an ass kicking in the second half. LSU came out the gate strong when they didn't score on that first drive where they got down to the goal line pretty much. That was a bad miss. It went downhill from there. Their offense didn't look good for the rest of the game.
That was stupid analytics, by the way. That was just going 4 downs and only running it on first down.
Yeah.
Come on,
guys.
Come on.
I was watching it with Hard Factor Will, who is an LSU alum. He went with us to the national championship that they won down in Louisiana. And he very unironically was screaming at halftime, like, fire Brian Kelly's ass, get his ass out of here. I don't know if that's the majority opinion of LSU fans, but I do know that like they don't like losing with Brian Kelly as their coach. They can tolerate losing with Coach O as their coach as long as they're building towards something. But any small mistake by Brian Kelly is going to be magnified. They're like this fucking carpetbagger coming down here and ruining our football program. Get the fuck out. So they don't want him out. It's not the vast majority opinion, but I do think that if he doesn't have a big season this year, you will hear some serious discussion about how much will it cost to get rid of him.
It's the winning cures all. You if you're an LSU fan, you suck up the fact that you're hiring Brian Kelly, who's not likable, to basically be like, we're going to win a national title. But you did win a national title with Coach O, so it's like, fuck.
Yeah, and they won one with Les Miles, who was likable.
Yeah,
so
Nick Saban somehow.
There's a reason why Les Miles stuck around year after year of just the most like the hugest brain farts ever at the end of multiple games per season, and that was because they liked him down there.
Yeah,
The state of Louisiana liked Les Miles.
I'm still rooting for LSU in spite of Brian Kelly.
That's how much we like LSU.
Yes. But Florida State was incredible. That turnaround's been awesome. Keon Coleman, who I did have to tweet out Tuck coming because that's tough. He transferred from Michigan State. He looked incredible. 3 touchdowns. High point king. He was just high pointing the ball all over LSU's cornerbacks. And then his mom afterwards had one of my favorite quotes ever. So Ross Dellinger wrote about this in Yahoo. Keon Coleman's mom said, because he's from Louisiana. He's from not too far from Baton Rouge.
He wasn't even offered.
Wanted to play basketball and football. And his mom said after, it was good, especially against LSU. God is blessing him. God says to make your enemies your footstool. Mm-hmm. He did it. I never heard that. I never heard God say that.
I had that note. He did.
Yeah,
it's actually in the Bible.
God is no different than like hazing at Sigma Chi. Make your enemies your footstool.
God says they hate us because they ain't us.
Yeah. That's I just like I might get that as a tattoo. God said make your enemies your footstool.
There's a lot of parts of the Bible that we don't hear about that much that they just don't teach you.
I don't know. No, I missed that one, but I mean, it's a great quote.
I'm gonna
shout out God for saying that. Like, that's fucking
no respect. Like
God had. I didn't even know they had that type of furniture back then.
He's the original top G.
God said, go to West Elm, get a fucking footstool of your enemies.
Psalm 110, verse 1. The Lord says to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet.
Bang.
That's a bar.
Let's go. So yeah, Florida State though looks for real. And Jordan Travis is very, very good.
Yeah.
All right. So we started with talking about the Pac-12. The Pac-12 on Friday officially is dead because Stanford and Cal and SMU are joining the ACC, which is basically like these 3 schools were like, we need a home so badly. They're taking way less money. I think SMU is not taking any TV dollars for the first 9 years, and Cal and Stanford are taking like half TV dollars for the first like 7 or 8 years. They basically just like, we need a home. And even SMU, there was a quote that SMU was picked because for Olympic sports, they'll meet in the middle and compete in. So SMU is literally like, okay, well, we found a place that they can just like split it halfway.
They're going to compete in Dallas?
Yeah, they're going to do like swimming in Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, that,
there are
there
are a lot of sports that Stanford is really good at that don't include basketball and football.
They win that cup, whatever the fuck it's called.
I don't know what cup.
There's like a Champions Cup.
Capital One, I think.
Yeah, the dumbest thing ever. Where it's like if it's how many sports you win a national title.
Oh yeah,
in. So like
that
if
one.
you have cross country,
they're like the best athletic school in the country
Right.
in sports that nobody really pays that close attention to.
Correct.
And it's funny because they're joining the ACC. I think we first speculated on that a few weeks ago, and how ridiculous that would be to have like the Ocean Conference, where it's just the Coastal Conference meeting each other. And then I was looking at a map, and I was like, oceans don't have boundaries. Like it's all one body of water.
That's true.
It's all one water. Like
they're touching each other.
They're touching each other. Who's to say what's Atlantic, what's Pacific? It's all the same ocean.
Except SMU, who's
Except
just there in the middle.
They're just there in the middle for swimming.
For everyone to get there and compete. But
I'm looking forward. So if you look up the stats, women's soccer, UNC, Stanford,
yes,
2 best programs in the history of college sports.
It's going to be great. Who said conference realignment was bad?
The rivalry's back on.
Yeah. The only other wrinkle that I'm just hoping this happens. So Oregon State and Washington State are now screwed. They're totally left out. There is a rule in NCAA where you have to have at least 8 members of your conference to continue being a conference, but you get a 2-year grace period to try to figure it out. They need to just do the Pac-2 next year.
Yeah.
It would fucking rule. So
the North Division and South Division,
like they have to do this. They have to keep the Pac-2 alive for at least 1 year.
And they should have a championship game.
Yeah,
they should have a conference championship.
Yeah, they should just play a round robin at the end of like in November.
Do you get an automatic bowl qualification if you win your conference?
Sure,
that's great. Yeah.
I don't think so, but yeah, maybe
if you win your conference championship,
I think you still have to be. Well, no, now they make bowls like 5 and 7 get a bowl.
Some of them do, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you transferred into Division 1 in the last 2 years, then you're not allowed to.
But we need that. We need that. All right. Other big stories. I have a horniest dudes. If you can make a decision on this, horniest dudes that we saw on Saturday. Urban Meyer, getting caught, hitting on a co-ed at halftime right before he was supposed to go live. We have Hugh Freeze getting himself back in the mix right away. Wins 1 game against UMass. And starts replying to women on Twitter, being like, come on, it's War Eagle all the time. When I think some reporter, Madison Gilbert, said, like, who should I root for, LSU or Florida State? And he's like, why not Auburn? Like,
just get in the mix.
That wasn't the question, Hugh. And then we have South Carolina, Shane Beamer. He somehow didn't blame himself whatsoever to the point that he blamed the chain gang for eating a hot dog at halftime and not being set for their onside kick, which they did recover.
So I heard that was some sort of tradition where they eat hot dogs at halftime there.
I don't know. Shane Beamer, all I know is in a horny world, Shane Beamer was just watching another dude angrily eat a hot dog.
Yeah, and then blame them.
Yeah, and then the last one is myself and Quiggs for Sam Pittman's tits. I don't know if you guys saw.
I didn't see Sam Pittman's tits.
I'll text you right now.
Okay.
It's
were they popping?
More than popping PFT. Like
he's got a great set.
I think Quiggs said Sam Pittman's tits got me barking, and I was like, yeah, you're right, dude. They are. I'm a little worried. Like they're so big that I don't know what's going on. We are Sam Pittman guys, but here, I just texted the group text. Zoom in on Sam Pittman's tits. He's with the Huckabees, too, so you'd think that he wouldn't have the biggest tits.
Let's see.
He's got some tits. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's got a rack, dude. Like, he's stacked.
Look at that mincy build.
Do you think he wears a bra?
I don't know, but...
Because I can't see any nipples.
I saw him and I zoomed in. I was like, wait, am I horny for Sam Pittman's tits? I think I am.
Mike Huckabee looks old.
Those tits, though, dude.
Huckabee looks like a mix of old Mike Huckabee and Kenny Rogers.
Yeah, those are. So who's horniest dude?
I'm gonna go with Urban.
Yeah.
A lifetime achievement award in being horny goes to Urban Meyer. He was just chatting her up. He was rizzing her up.
I do like Hugh Freeze just being like, now that I'm back, I'm all the way back.
Now that I'm not at liberty anymore.
Yeah,
I am at liberty to be horny as hell.
Hugh Freeze is feeling himself. He's like, oh, this is good.
I
got my swagger back.
He's in a hospital bed for Pride Prism, just giving a thumbs up. 4 hours ain't shit.
Oh, all right. Other things I wrote down. Oh, Iowa first opening drive touchdown pass to start the season since 1991.
That's pretty impressive.
That's insane.
Let's go.
They scored a touchdown on their first 2 drives. Then they just went back to Iowa offense. And for people who don't know, one of the best storylines this year is Brian Ferentz, the son of Kirk, their head coach. He's the offensive coordinator. And Max just dropped everything. And in his contract, Iowa has to win 7 games this year, and they have to average 25 points a game. Can be defensive too.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't do that, he loses his job. So it's basically they scored 24 this week. So that's tough when you need that first week of the season. You need to put up some points to kind of pad the stats. But it's a great storyline to watch. Like to have that type of he's on like
offensive
memes.
explosion.
He's on a pip.
Yeah, he's offensive explosion out of Iowa.
Yeah.
I have a fuckhead of the week.
Okay.
There are no nominees. There's just one person.
Yeah.
Thomas Fernelli.
Yeah.
Recurring guest, a part of my take. He came on, gave his week 1 preview, and he gave a game of the year, right? He said he wanted to make it a game of the year.
He didn't go all the way to game of the year.
He gave Texas Tech to whomp Wyoming. He said, I bought it at 10, I bought it at 11, I'm buying it at 14, I'll buy it up to 20 if I have to. They go to Laramie and they lose. And they lose. And they lost. And it was bad. And it was a bad game. It was a bad call. Now, Tom does have a notes app apology. To his credit, if nothing, he's a man with integrity. The title of the notes app was just, I'm sorry. I would like to issue an apology to the Big Cat, PFT, Max, Jake, and the AWLs for saying game of the year in relation to Texas Tech -14 during my appearance on part of my take.
Lost outright.
He didn't mention Hank.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Well, they're the same person.
This is totally on me, and I accept responsibility. I also acknowledge that Texas Tech had a 17-0 lead and totally blew it, so it's really their fault. But this is on me. I accept my 4-day suspension. It was, I believe, I said that it was an all Italians suspension.
Yeah,
we're banning Italians from part of my take
in general,
for 4 days, beginning Saturday.
Yeah.
So starting on Wednesday, we can have Italians back on the show if we have to.
Yes, I banned him for Monday's episode.
So he can't listen.
He couldn't listen to Monday's episode, the lost tapes.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that makes me feel better is that it is Tom's job, and he went, I think, 1-11 on Saturday. So it made me feel a little better that he, there's nothing worse than someone giving you a pick, it losing, and they'd be like, whoa, dude, I went like 10-2. What are you talking about? But Tom also, I do believe in Tom. I trust the process. He's going to have a good season. He even went out tonight and he gave out a pick. Clemson over 34.5 team total. And the score right now is Duke 21, Clemson 7.
Well, it's only like the first quarter, right?
No, there's 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Oh, shit.
Fuck.
All right, so what are we, what's our plan? Because it's very rare that you get an opportunity to either tail somebody entirely, hoping the pendulum swings, or are we going to fade all of his picks next week?
No, you have to tail him. I got my teeth kicked in on Saturday. It was like I actually had a moment that I'm not very proud of because I told my wife, I was like, I'm not in football shape. And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, my eyes just hurt so bad from watching all this football today. And I lost so many bets. I got to get back in football shape. And she was like, what are you talking about? So I feel the pain that Tom felt in a different way. I had different picks, but they all lost as well. I think you gotta follow him next week.
I actually kind of agree with that because it's going to be a lot of fun if I tail him and he goes like 0-13 again.
Right. You can't. He will correct.
Tom's good.
It's time to hop on, and it's also just like that. That's how gambling works.
It's week 1 for bloggers too.
Also, shout out all the people who, for the 3 years that Penn owned us, claimed that I lost on purpose so that people would lose money. 1 week into the college football season, I think I'm down 15 units. So, gotcha. Looks like I'm just a bad gambler. It wasn't a bit. It would have been great though if I went scorching hot and everyone was like, dude, you were doing that as a bit. You were losing money as a bit. No, I lose money every Saturday and Sunday as probably my favorite hobby.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
It's my favorite hobby.
Listen, I've never had so much fun losing money as I did on Saturday. It's mostly due to Tom. I did go nuclear on that play, but overall, it's hard to win in week 1. You haven't seen anything yet. You got nothing but You know what? I blame the media. I blame the media for losing almost every bet week 1 because I listened to their advice and their offseason takes.
And also, shout out, like, my whole day was just trash. I watched games start to finish, from starting at 11 a.m. all the way till the night games. And the Penn State, James Franklin, still running his offense at the end of the game to cover against West Virginia.
He knows.
I like smiled. I was like, this is why I do it, as I counted how much money I lost that day. But I was like, but I won that one.
He knows. And that's the thing. It's not against the law if you're a coach to have in the back of your mind the understanding that your alumni are betting on you to cover the spread.
Yes.
And then you keep your offense on the field to cover the spread. You're not betting on it, but you are establishing an enormous amount of job security if they can trust that you'll push them over the edge whenever they back you.
Yes, Drew Lair is very, very good. Max is back, by the way. We'll talk to Matt. Let's save the Mount Rushmore talk and vacation talk for after Field Yates. But Drew Lair is awesome.
Yeah, best quarterback, Penn State quarterback I think I've seen in my lifetime.
Whoa.
Christian Mettenberger.
Okay. Todd Blackledge.
Yeah.
Christian Hackenberg. Was he a second round pick?
I think so.
To the Jets.
That's insane.
I mean, he was just he was a prototypical Big Ten, big, tall, strong arm guy.
That is insane that he was a second round pick.
Yeah.
Well, he was supposed to be like the next Peyton Manning.
He stayed a year too long. Or I don't know if he could have even left.
No,
but
yeah,
I remember him being like having all the hype and then him staying and be like, whoa, what is this?
Did he ever play? Did he take a snap in the NFL?
I think he did for the Jets, right?
I don't think he did. Yeah, second round pick, 51st overall.
Yeah, he started. Oh no, he didn't play.
His middle
he started
name
3 games in the AAF in 2019.
His middle name is Blaze.
Oh, that's
sick.
worth a second round pick
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, Drew Aller better.
Got to take a shot.
Oh, Drew Aller's awesome. Yeah, it doesn't look like he played. Jets. That's funny memes. All right, yeah, other things. I don't want to root for all right, Hank, you're doing your bar Big Ten thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to go to a different Chicago bar for a Big Ten team starting at some point.
Probably this weekend.
Okay. I want to just throw this out there. I know you probably don't care about it. Indiana, I didn't know this till today or yesterday. Indiana has a McMahon on their team. Shane McMahon's son is on Indiana. What are you doing, Jake?
Jake wanted my laptop charger for some reason.
Okay. Indiana has a McMahon on the team, and Shane McMahon gifted Indiana a takeaway belt, like a real wrestling belt. So that has to help a little bit.
Definitely.
They're not good, but having a McMahon makes them awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw, like, there was a picture, some fan took a picture of Shane walking into the stadium in, like, Indiana gear, and I was like, I fucking kind of like Indiana now. That's how much I love Shane O'Mac.
It'd be very funny if Hank moved all the way here from New Jersey and just picked Rutgers.
Oh, they looked good.
They did. Well, they
looked really good.
They beat my Wildcats.
Yeah,
I was heartbroken.
It was weird. Did you tweet about the Wildcats at all?
No, I frankly, I think that what happened with our football team this last season was disgusting.
Okay,
and so I don't enjoy talking about the only time I'll talk about my Northwestern Wildcats will be to admonish them and admonish the entire football team.
Because I noticed you hadn't tweeted about him, so I was like, oh, he and Ravel must have done a vow of silence on Sunday. Oh, he also did not tweet about them.
That's what we do.
Very weird.
That's what we do.
Very weird.
We're boycotting it. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
It is interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
I'm on the group chat right now. It's me, Ravel, Mike Wilbon, and Greeny. And Greeny's got his hands full right now. He's got Unc walking into the studio.
Yep.
He's got a whole thing going on the Seaport. So he's focused on the Jets. That's what we're saying right now. Greeny's in NFL mode.
Yeah. All right. Other things. I mean, I really am. I do think the Pac-12 won the weekend because Washington looked awesome. Oregon put up a fucking billion against Portland State. DJ Uiagalelei looks good. Mm-hmm. He had 20 seconds on every pass, but he still looked good.
You know, Clemson's offense could use somebody like that.
Yeah, they could. Clemson, Dabo, hot seat. I'm saying it.
Well, okay, so I would toss Dabo into the conversation of least likable college football coaches.
Oh yes, that's right. We did miss him.
Yeah,
we went sideways when you said Cosby.
Yeah, that's true.
Because then I was like, wait, Brian Kelly, Urban Meyer, Cosby.
Yeah, Cosby would. I mean, if he coached Temple,
it would be a discussion. Mm-hmm. And then last thing, Georgia memes. Would you like to disavow? Yeah, so Georgia had a staffer, Jarvis Jones, got a speeding ticket, and that is their 15th speeding or reckless driving charge since the terrible tragedy that happened in January. 15. That's pretty insane.
Well, he got arrested.
Yeah, but that's pretty insane.
Yeah. It wasn't just a ticket. He got arrested.
I'm like 15.
After an accident.
Kirby Smart denied that there was a problem in March, and then in July was like, yeah, there's a problem.
It's
like
SEC,
we have way too many speeding
it's
tickets.
SEC speed, baby.
Yeah, like, so memes?
Yeah, they got to do driver's ed.
Okay. Like, can they put something in everyone's car that it can't go? Like, just give golf carts.
Golf carts,
everyone.
yeah. Golf carts is the move.
Or mopeds.
Yeah.
Mopeds don't go fast. Like
Rollerblades.
45. Yeah.
You should have the defense just getting around campus on blades.
Bikes. Yeah. Okay. It was fun though. College football's back. It was very, very fun to watch. Also, Mizzou's head coach. Oh, he could have been in horniest as well because he was talking about one of his players, and he was like, "When my daughter becomes of age, I would love for her to date him."
Yeah, it's always a weird thing to say.
Like what?
You remember it was I want to say the national championship where it was Florida and Oklahoma, and maybe it was Herb Street or Fowler, whoever was calling that game, just went on a diatribe about how much you want your daughter to date a guy like Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
Which you can kind of understand that because he's not going to have sex with her.
But yeah, very weird.
Very
to
strange.
Just say like, "Oh yeah, my underage daughter. I can't wait till she turns 18, and then maybe she'll date him."
Yeah, very strange.
That's the highest compliment you can give a guy, I guess.
I guess so.
I don't really
But it's also
understand it.
kind of a diss. If the
Yeah.
guy's like, "Oh, you're not a threat."
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you? Okay, so yeah, I think that's it. I think we got some who's back that we're gonna do, and then we have Field Yates. What?
We needed that same faces, different places PowerPoint for college football.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's insane the amount of transfers.
Emery Jones, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Yeah. JT Daniels, Rice.
Keaton Slovis on BYU. Yeah.
How many schools is this JT Daniels' fourth school?
He's played in every school in FBS.
Good for him.
Yeah. And Keaton Slovis, who's a recurring guest, also has played on a lot of schools. He
Yep.
was at West Virginia last year. No, he's at Pitt. He was at Pitt. JT Daniels was at West Virginia.
Yeah.
And now he's on Rice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It is. The transfer portal does get a little confusing
Yeah.
with all these names. Okay.
Do you want to do a moment of silence for Jimmy Buffett?
Yeah, that
The
was
legend.
sad.
Very sad news.
That was sad.
Friday night, old J Buff passed away.
He did go out at the end of summer.
He did.
Kinda fitting.
He did.
Although we've
But
talked about this, dying right before football season's the worst.
If I died the week before football season started, like dude from Smash Mouth has got to be just turning over right now.
Jimmy Buffett saw Nebraska, Minnesota.
That
was it.
That's awful. But maybe Saints team of destiny. Jimmy Buffett, huge Saints fan. He's on the sidelines for like all their home games every year.
True.
Jameis Winston put out a fire tweet, just like R.I.P. King of him and Jimmy. Jimmy Buffett was just an all-time good dude.
Yeah, he was a dude's rock dude.
Vacation king.
He made billions of dollars off just having fun and just like telling people, "Hey, I like to have fun and drink."
And the best
Isn't that
part
cool?
is he was like a workaholic.
Yeah, but he worked hard. He worked
he
so
loved
hard.
what he did, yeah.
He worked so hard at vacationing.
Right.
I would like to see that out of Hank.
Yeah.
Right now, you kind of go on vacation. You take a vacation from your vacation while you're on it.
Jimmy Buffett's also one of those guys. You can't put on one of his songs and not be in a good mood.
No, it's
just the
impossible.
minute it hits, you're like, man, that's fun. I want to drink.
I tweeted out this story about Jimmy Buffett, which I learned this last summer. I was in Jamaica for a wedding. I think you'll appreciate it. It's a crazy, like, it's the ultimate Jimmy Buffett story. He was flying. He was a pilot, right? So he was flying his little plane around through Jamaica, and he had Bono on the plane with him. And he was like, "Hey, Bono, I know this great jerk chicken shack that we got to stop by. It's right off the bay, right off Montego Bay." So Jimmy Buffett lands his plane in the bay so that they can get out and get some chicken. As they're landing, the Jamaican military opens fire on his plane and tries to shoot him down with automatic rifles and shit. He lands the plane. There's bullet holes everywhere in it. And they all hit the deck. They get boarded by the Jamaican military. And they get on the plane and they're like, "Oh, fuck, we just shot at Jimmy Buffett and Bono."
Okay.
And so they were like apologizing so hard. They were afraid that they were going to all lose their jobs, probably go to jail. And Jimmy was like, "You know what? I've gotten away with a lot of dumb, illegal shit that I've done in my life. This is just kind of like a little bit of karma. It's probably good if I don't go at them for this. I'm just going to write a song about it. And he wrote a song called Jamaica Mistaka.
Love it.
And it was a fucking smash hit.
Perfect.
And he just went on with his life. And then everybody from that point on, Jamaica, they're like, oh, Jimmy's back in town. Let's make sure we treat him right and not try to shoot his plane out of the sky.
Make a mistake.
It's also,
it rhymes.
It does. It's also crazy to think that back then people would try to shoot your plane down if you thought you had weed on it.
Yeah, I know. Especially going to Jamaica.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Wild.
Yeah, Jimmy Buffett though, all-time guy.
Yep.
All-time dudes rock guy.
Yes.
Like just a king of vacation, of good times, of just feeling good. Like when you, like I said, when you hear the song, you're just like, I was at the Cubs game and they replayed it, his 7th inning stretch, which was a nice tribute, but they were playing Jimmy Buffett throughout the game, and 5 o'clock somewhere like came on. I was just like, I was with my son. I was like, I want to get fucking blacked out right now.
Yeah, it's
like I want to drink.
It's fantastic stuff. So had a great time at his Margaritaville Times Square resort. Went with Donnie about a year and a half ago, and I know they just shut it down. But if you're listening to me, if anybody knows where the giant like 30, 40-foot Statue of Liberty that they had inside in the foyer that had a margarita glass instead of the torch with sharks swimming around in it. If anybody knows where that is, I'd be very interested in purchasing it.
Yeah, we'll put it in the new office.
We
have more than enough space.
I can't imagine that there's a big market out there for that, but I want to throw my name in that.
Yes, absolutely. I will help fund that. We will absolutely buy that.
Yep.
No question. Okay, let's do Who's Back, and then we have Field Yates with a big-time NFL preview. Who's Back is brought to you by DirecTV. Let's move on to our overly direct take presented by DirecTV. You know we'll have that with our Who's Back takes. DirecTV is the ultimate destination for pro football. It's where fans can get their football fix this season. Whether you're watching games live on TV or streaming app, DirecTV has you covered, and you can get DirecTV without a satellite. Get a $400 reward card with a 24-month DirecTV package and receipt of 23-24 NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube. Offer not endorsed or associated. Details at DirecTV.com. I know that we have DirecTV at the new office. DirecTV, our direct takes. Like I've been preaching this. Everyone's got to get themselves in order. Coming up, football's here. So it's this week. DirecTV is the ultimate destination for pro football. It's where fans can get their football fix all season long. So again, $400 reward card with a 24-month DirecTV package and receipt of 23-24 NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube. So do it right now. Go to directtv.com. Details at directtv.com. And here's our direct takes, overly direct takes, presented by DirecTV. Who's back of the week, Hank?
Who's back of the week is diarrhea.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There was a Delta flight this weekend going from Atlanta to Barcelona, and it had to turn around because someone had, quote, diarrhea all the way through the plane, which I don't even really understand.
No, I think it's shit everywhere.
Like it was just leaking down the aisles.
Shit everywhere.
I think you're like going to the bathroom and it's falling out of your pants.
I think he shit on like people. I think he shit on things. I think shit everywhere.
Coming out of the
Did you hear the
ceilings?
call?
No.
It was great. Oh, I got to try to find it.
It's like
for you.
you know when you rob a bank and they put the dye pack in there and the purple explodes all over the money? That's the inside of the plane, but brown.
Yeah. And it was a biohazard?
So it was a biohazard, yep.
Yeah, which makes me feel like next time I diarrhea, I'm just going to be like, yeah, that's a biohazard. Watch out.
I saw our good friend Scott Van Pelt tweeted out that which would you rather be on a plane with, the You're Not Real girl or the one that has explosive diarrhea?
I mean, You're Not
It's
Real
the
girl.
You're Not.
She's
If the You're Not
so fucking hot.
If the
dude.
You're Not Real girl had explosive diarrhea on a plane, they'd be able to sell those plane seats for thousands of dollars.
Please, also, it's Tiffany Gomez, our queen.
Yes.
Let's put her name. Her name.
Come
put
on,
some respect.
Come
her
on the
name.
pod to discuss it.
co-
Can't wait
in
for this
person.
person to reveal himself.
I don't think they ever will.
Actually, we should, Jake. You should do a video like the Tiffany Gomez video. You get all dolled up in makeup, like
Yeah.
from part of my cheesesteak
yeah.
shoot, and just be like, "I'm just here to say that what
was
I've gone
me."
through over the past week has been hell."
It wasn't
Stop
part of my
online bullying.
cheesesteak.
Yeah, it was not.
All right,
You made that
here's the
clear.
call. It's so good. Hold on. This is the official call when they had to call back to the airport.
Negative. It's just a biohazard issue. We've had a passenger who had diarrhea all the way through the airplane.
All the way through.
All
It's
the
just
way. No, I think he probably was wearing shorts, maybe no underwear. It's hot out. It's summer, and it was just diarrhea leaking everywhere.
Maybe he went
How
to
is there
Magic
no-
City. Maybe got the lemon pepper wings.
Video evidence of this. Anytime anything crazy happens in a plane, there's video.
I don't know,
Good
dude.
question, Jake.
But if someone's running up with diarrhea, I think you're like, holy shit, get out of the way. He's going to diarrhea on me. Not, holy shit, I need my phone.
If it was running down the aisle, one person of the 100 and something is going to.
I don't know. I think you have to take care of yourself in that situation.
No, I agree with Jake. It's fun. It's a little odd to me that there's absolutely no video footage of this.
We should just put out Jersey Jerry's catastrophe. Be like,
That's the guy.
live footage. Yeah, live footage.
This is a catastrophe.
It's definitely someone that was on the flight that fell asleep too. Like, all right, going to Barcelona.
Yeah.
Take
Wait,
like-
they were going to Barcelona?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
How
that
mad would you
sucks.
be? You're about to go on an awesome vacation.
To Barcelona?
Barcelona, and you have to turn around because somebody's got diarrhea.
Everywhere. It was everywhere.
They should have shot the plane down.
It was everywhere. Yeah, he should have just jumped out.
Yeah.
He should have been like, all right, enough for me. I'd rather not live with this. All right, good. Who's back?
Thank you.
Yeah. PFT.
Great who's back, Hank.
Thank you.
My who's back of the week is Indianapolis Colts fans.
Yes.
So as we promised on this podcast, when Jim Irsay went after Dan Snyder, I said I would become a Colts fan in the AFC and purchase season tickets if Irsay's push ultimately led Dan Snyder to sell the team. I'm a man of my word. I bought Colts season tickets. Big Cat is matching, so we have a total of 4 tickets to give away to Indianapolis Colts fans for every home game this year.
Also, I should just say I matched, and then I fucked up the match because they tried to get me to have Colts tickets for life. There was a box I couldn't unclick that would give me Colts tickets for life. So I looked in my email, and I thought I had them. I don't, but I'm buying 2 tickets for every game, which actually will work in someone's favor because, like, Christmas time, I'll probably buy, 100 level tickets.
Yeah, so we
First game, it's going to be 600 level, but I have my 2 tickets.
So we have a total of 4 tickets to give away. I do have the season tickets, and also shout out to the Colts because they reached out. This is pretty awesome. They heard the podcast and they said, "We appreciate you guys becoming season ticket holders. We're gonna throw in 2 VIP sideline passes pregame."
Yes. Wait, we need to up that to 4.
So you can go. Well, I can ask. But right now we have 2 VIP sideline passes for the pregame, as well as the 2 tickets from me and 2 tickets from Big Cat. So we have to figure out how to give them away. If you're an Indianapolis Colts fan, here's what we're doing for week 1. I want to see youngsters go to this game. I want to see youngsters get these tickets that wouldn't be
not
able
in a
to
creepy
go,
way.
Not in a creepy way. But I'd like to see the best Jim Irsay lookalike youngster, Baby Irsay. Mm-hmm. If you're an Indianapolis Colts fan, maybe you've got a son or a daughter wants to get dressed up like Baby Irsay, send us pictures of a Baby Irsay, and we will give you free tickets to go see the Colts. We have 4 of them.
Yeah, so winners and second place.
Winners and second place both receive tickets, and then at least 2 VIP sideline passes for pregame. Not sure if we're going to have 4, but we do have 2.
We'll just give them to both the Baby Ursays.
Just the kids,
yeah. They'll just go themselves.
So how do we want to do this? Tweet at Part of My Take?
Well, people might not have Twitter/X. Should we do the PMT intern email?
Yeah, sure.
PMT intern at Barstool.
And we'll tweet out the winners.
But we will tweet out the winners.
Yeah, but if people don't have Twitter.
Okay, so either tweet them at us or email to PMT
intern at barstoolsports.com.
PMT intern at barstoolsports.com.
Yep.
And we'll select 4 winners. So giving back.
Yes.
Feels good to give back to the community.
Feels great.
My other Who's Back of the Week, plug God, is Pup Punk. So if you're in Columbia, South Carolina, Pup Punk is going to be playing at the Bojangles in Columbia, South Carolina, as we've always wanted to do.
Don't be eating a hot dog in front of Shane Beamer.
Don't do it. We're going to be eating Bowberry biscuits in front of Shane Beamer because the Bowberry biscuit is elite. It's an elite fast food treat. So we're going to be there on Friday. Free concert at 9. So that means me, Roan, Frankie, Robbie, Caroline, Nick. We're going to be there. We're going to play, I think, for an hour. So come out, say hi. I love the Cox.
Yeah.
I love the Cox. So I want to see a bunch of Cox show up to that concert at the Bojangles.
Also, and then Saturday, the college football show is going to be in Tuscaloosa for the first time. So I'll be in Tuscaloosa.
Huge.
4:00, I think, is the time. So everyone come out to that. Texas, Alabama.
I did hear some people saying Malik Murphy. I heard people say Malik Murphy for Texas. I don't know.
Ooh. Why? Quinn Ewers?
Quinn Ewers looks like
banged up.
He looks like a very good average quarterback. That's what Quinn Ewers looks like to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Malik Murphy's a fucking monster.
Also, Quinn Ewers cut his mullet.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That was a very big problem. He cleaned up big time. Okay, my Who's Back. I got a couple. The first is the Waterdogs in the semis.
Yeah.
Good for them.
It's the semis?
2 wins away. Yep.
2 wins away. Okay.
I'm so hands off. I went to the Cubs game instead of watching them.
Yeah. Well,
I knew that they were going to win. I didn't need to. I don't show up to watch Waterdogs games unless they're already in the semifinals.
It's the quarterfinals, you know?
Yeah.
Like we expect to be there every year.
That's that.
We got rings, Big Cat.
We have a tradition here at Waterdogs HQ, and we don't watch quarterfinals because we go to the semis and then we go to the finals, and then we win the whole fucking.
We have high standards, and
back to back.
We got the Final Four coming up.
If we don't go back to back, I hate this team.
Who are you playing?
Waterdogs versus Cannons.
Fuck the Cannons.
If we don't go back to back,
Up-and-coming
I'm
team
throwing
this year.
my Waterdogs ring into the Chicago River.
I'm gonna.
By the way, I brought it
You know, I see
like
it
6 weeks ago.
Yeah,
It's
get
sitting
ready.
They're nice.
Sitting
I'm
on the
throwing
floor.
it in the river.
I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna at the last minute not throw it, and then just throw a paper airplane that says "Thank you, Waterdogs."
Oh, nice.
I love those fake jersey burning ones.
Okay. And then my other who's back, Hank. Did you see the report about your wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster?
Yeah, I mean
This one was weird.
This was a Florio special. It read like
It was crazy. I've never seen a report like this. If you guys didn't see it, it was Juju Smith-Schuster's knee could explode at any point.
Whoa.
And is a mess, according to Albert Breer. Could explode at any point. What the fuck does that mean?
It's like the plot to Die Hard.
Couldn't anyone's fucking knee explode at any point?
Yeah.
Right?
he's been practicing playing.
I just saw it. I was like, what is... I actually read it wrong the first time. I didn't read the word knee. And I thought it was just Juju Smith-Schuster could explode at any point. And then I read it back. I was like, wait, what the fuck?
I thought it was Buck Crack Sports.
Yeah.
Where was it from, Hank?
It was Albert Breer.
But that's not Florio.
No.
No, I know it read, but it read like
It read like a Florio.
So anything negative reads like a Florio.
This is like you like seeing like the New Yorker cartoons. You're like, that's a Florio. I could see it. I could see it right now. Shout out Florio, by the way. He did a book reading in Wheeling, West Virginia. And he said that one person asked him about his fantasy football team, and he refused to answer it because he thought the person had FaceTimed us. So it's good that we just live in his head.
Yeah.
This time of year. It's the best. We'll get him again at some point, but it's good that we've taken a break and just let him live in horror.
He's just too ready for it right now.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which is its own punishment.
Right. Exactly. He's just walking around flinching all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, Jake, your who's back?
My who's back is the U.S. Open.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, Americans are cooking in this tournament this year. I don't know if you guys have been following it at all, but there's 3 American men in the quarterfinals.
Isner
retired.
I know. I
Yeah,
saw that. That was sad. He was
He's
crying.
one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah. Some kid fucking gave me Isner as his bet.
Yeah.
On Wednesday
Yeah,
morning.
it was a
and he
retirement
lost.
match. And he
Best
lost.
serve goat.
Serve goat.
Yep.
Andy Roddick is my serve goat.
What about Novak's?
Oh, yeah,
see
it's Rogers.
Yeah. I just Kings respecting Kings.
Yeah.
Rogers went to the U.S. Open and he had a picture of Novak and he said, "Shout out my guy Novak's," and had crossed out Moderna, the ad that was on the U.S. Open. Listen, Rogers and I are starting to become very much alike. We both agree that Novak's is the GOAT. Yeah.
Yeah. So the bottom half of the men's brackets, 3 Americans and Djokovic.
Of course.
Is it Tiafoe? Is he still in?
Tiafoe's still in it.
I like
yeah.
Tiafoe.
I still think he should come on the show.
I do
think
too.
he'd be a good fit.
Djokovic lost the first 2 sets on
Oh, yeah, and he won
Friday
3 in
night.
a row,
Everyone's like, "Oh, you got to be
2 in the
careful."
morning.
I went to sleep and I had no care in the world. Of course he was
Yeah.
going to win that shit.
Jake, you have to keep reminding us every major tournament, like who these different tennis players are. Who's the one that like gets upset all the time that people hate? Because I like him.
Kyrgios, but he's hurt.
Okay, I like him.
Yeah.
Wait.
Because people hate him.
Wait, is Alcatraz not in it?
He's the number 1 seed. He's on the top half of the bracket.
Got it.
Yeah.
So wait, we're celebrating Americans being in the quarterfinals
Well-
after we just talked about how the quarterfinals don't matter?
It's the first time, I think, in over a
Okay,
decade that
no,
4 men
no.
made the quarterfinals or round of 16.
Let me know when they actually get to the semis.
Well, one's guaranteed. Tiafoe
Okay.
versus Blake Shelton,
Okay, great. So 1?
at least.
Wait,
That's
wait.
not a story.
Versus Blake Shelton?
Ben Shelton. Sorry.
Okay, all right.
That's
That would
like,
be
wait,
very
wait,
confusing.
he's a fucking dual sport athlete.
Should
Yeah.
smoke him.
Yeah.
Come on, Jake. We can't celebrate quarterfinals.
Wait,
It's been a tough decade.
On this podcast?
are the Americans playing each other?
2 of them. Yeah, so one's guaranteed in the semis.
Yeah, cannibalization, man. I don't like that.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm pulling for Tiafoe. I think he should be on the show.
I am too. DC guy.
Yep.
Yeah, let me know when one of them wins it.
The whole thing?
Yeah, we suck at tennis.
Yeah, it's been a struggle.
We haven't won one in how long?
I think Roddick or
Sampras? No, what was last time?
Agassi probably.
Roddick never won a major, right?
Yeah, he did. I think.
Did he? I thought he was supposed to be next up, and he never came.
He just was
He's the anti-Dion.
He was a serve god.
Did he win a major? Did Roddick win a major?
I'm looking it up right now.
I don't think Roddick ever won a major.
You might be right.
Yeah. Jake, I know more tennis than you.
No. He won the U.S. Open.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
Okay.
2003.
My laptop's
So it's
going
been
slow.
20 years.
And then he was in the finals at Wimbledon for 3 years.
So it's been 20 years since we've won one, and it's our type. Listen, if I ran for president, I'd be like, we always win the U.S. Open. We just won't let anyone else play in it. It's just only Americans. It's the U.S. Open golf and tennis. We need to win this.
Yeah.
We have to. But Novak's gonna win because he's the GOAT. Okay, good job, Jake.
Thanks.
Quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Just keep us updated.
I will.
I want to see one of them in the finals. Then I will root, unless it's against Novak.
Well, like I said, 3 Americans and Novak are the bottom half of the bracket.
Oh, so yeah, he's there. He's gonna waste them. He's gonna waste.
Never know.
Yeah, we went back to back 2002, 2003. Sampras, Roddick, and then nothing.
Sampras, all-time hairy dude.
Very hairy.
Just the
Super,
hairiest.
super Greek.
So
Also,
hairy.
women's side, Coco Gauff, still alive.
Still alive.
Yeah.
Coco Gauff next up.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You said
Jimmy Butler's been in her box.
Whoa, Jake.
Jake. Respectfully.
Damn,
that's
Jake.
That's what it's called in tennis. Like
Jimmy-
you're in someone's
I understand,
box.
but you
Butler's
understand
been
what
in
you
her box?
said. Jimmy Butler's been in her box.
Whoa.
I phrased that wrong.
All right.
I'm not wrong. I didn't phrase it wrong. I just
Well, yeah, you did.
Yeah, you definitely. That's
could've
exactly
said,
what you did.
You could have
Actually,
said sweet.
yeah.
or he's been in. You should have said
He's attended the game.
You should have said Jimmy Butler's been in her sweet box.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. That would have been much better.
Okay.
Okay. Let's get to Field Yates. Field Yates, great interview, NFL preview with Field Yates. Pardon My Take is sponsored by BetterHelp. Do you ever find that just as you're trying to fall asleep, your brain suddenly won't stop talking? Do your thoughts start racing right before bed or at other inopportune moments? Well, it turns out one great way to make those racing thoughts go away is to talk them through. Therapy gives you a place to do that so you can get out of your negative thought cycles and find some mental and emotional peace. So it is great to take care of your mental well-being, your mental health, and BetterHelp is there for you. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. This is the big point, guys and girls. It's online. So if you are someone who has felt like, hey, I don't need therapy. Everyone needs to talk out their problems. Everyone needs to talk through some anxiety. You might not even realize that you have anxiety or you have something that you're dealing with until you start talking about it, and then you feel better. So get a break from your thoughts with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/PMT today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/PMT, BetterHelp.com/PMT, 10% off your first month and take care of your mental health with BetterHelp.com/PMT. Okay, here he is, Field Yates. Okay, we now welcome on a very, very special guest in person.
Double
He
very.
double very. He was nice enough to change his flights around. He has been on to prank Mike Florio, but we thought, we know Field Yates is a fan of the show. We know he knows football very, very well inside and out. So let's get him on. Let's talk some ball. Before we talk ball, Schefter asked me to ask you what your middle name is.
Oh, God. Minister.
What?
Yeah, I'm a very non-religious person, so not exactly appropriate. My mother's maiden name, so.
Okay, that makes more sense. So
otherwise
my name's definitely followed me throughout my life.
Because it could be stolen valor.
Could be, yeah.
Minister Yates.
Yeah,
Minister
I've officiated
Yates.
2 weddings, but no, not a particularly religious or spiritual
Okay, that's not as
person.
cool of
Yeah.
a story. Schefter kind of led me down the
I
wrong
don't
way
know.
there.
You know, the best part about having a name that's like it's unique is that, like, you know, growing up when, you know, at a certain age, kids like did sort of have their thoughts on being named Field, and it's like you have zero control over what your name is.
That's true.
Yeah,
you know,
That's
like
true.
What
this is
was the
inherited.
age? What was the age kids started making
Yeah, it's
fun
probably
of it?
like I'm thinking like 8 to 10.
Okay.
I remember. I will distinctly remember being like, I have an older brother, younger sister, and picking up my older brother when he started at a new school, and I was probably around when he was probably 10 or so. So I'm thinking 8 to 10.
Isn't that the worst? That first moment. I remember maybe when I was like 7 or 8 at
Did
a
Dan
pool.
get you some flack?
No. At a pool, one of my friends was like, "Hey, see if you can hold your hands together in front of you like this, And I did, and he's like, look, you have tits. And I was like, God damn it. And that was it. It was just like, fuck. I never.
I
You're
now
so
feel
young.
like they let me off easy
Yeah,
by just
you're-
saying like your name's weird.
Right. When you're young, you don't even think about these things. In that first moment you think about it, you're like, well, this will be something new insecurity unlocked for the rest of my life.
Content 30 years later though.
Yeah.
So on the plus side,
Yeah,
you got that going for
People
you.
remember it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and you know
Feels
what's weird
bonus.
is like you guys. I'm sure you guys to the 100th degree deal with this, but like working at ESPN, it's a big company, and I've been there for over a decade now, and all the people, like amazing people that work in like studio operations, but like all the time, it's a different crew every single day. Like, hey, Field, how's it going? And you're like, shit.
Oh, yeah.
I know, like we've definitely said hello, we've definitely introduced ourselves before, but like that might have been 8 years for all I know, and it's like, hey. Pal, did you guys do this recently?
Chief,
like like the worst names to be called. And I was like,
Buddy,
I just feel like that's
You ever
constantly
buddy
me.
anybody?
Sport.
Way too much.
You
What's
gotta
up,
get a
bud?
little.
Thanks,
You got a
bud.
little older, and you can do sport. Are you subconsciously rooting for Justin Fields?
Yes. I mean,
Okay.
Not even subconscious.
Okay, just
outwardly.
blatant,
Yeah.
like because that you have to have a little bit of kinship there.
Totally. Yeah. And I'm not trying to like cater to the home team here now, but Ryan Poles and I, my first job out of college, I got hired by the Chiefs to go work as a scouting assistant, which is as entry level of a scouting job as there is in the NFL. And there were 3 desks in one room, and it was me, Ryan Poles, now the Bears GM, also hired at the same time, and then a guy named Mike Borgonzi, who's the Chiefs GM, Chief Assistant GM, excuse me. So, like the 3 of us were in this fishbowl together for a couple of years, and so you like to see people that do well. So if Justin Fields does well, then Ryan Poles might be the king of the city.
Wait, I didn't realize you were. How long were you in the NFL for?
2 seasons with the Chiefs. So
Okay.
the first year was
Todd Haley, right?
scouting assistant, and my second year I was Todd Haley's right-hand man.
Oh wow,
That must
Crazy.
be something.
Oh, that's awesome.
I have very limited experience with Todd Haley. I've met him a few times, usually at the combine.
Yeah.
We might take this story out, but last time I was hanging out with him, he just showed me pictures of his wife's tits. He was like, check this out.
We're not taking that out.
Rick, seriously?
Well, he didn't show it to me. He was showing it to
Like a group of people?
A group, check them out. Pretty
No, it was
sweet,
I had a great experience. So my second year is actually that's like not to derail wherever this was going, but so when I first got hired, there was like 5 of us that got hired in the summer of 2009. 3 of us on the scouting staff, the guys I mentioned, and then one of the coaches was Nick Sirianni. So Nick Sirianni, now the Eagles head coach, was the quality control offensive coach, or the offensive quality control coach. He was like really at Todd's mercy. I was, a little more, was it like a slightly larger buffer? But yeah, Nick Sirianni, and I love people are always like, yeah, so you knew back then, right? Totally. Like 22-year-old me knew that 23-year-old Nick Sirianni was gonna
be
in
there,
his second year be a Super Bowl head coach and like have it all figured out. But it's been great to follow those guys.
Was the goal to get to being like a head coach? Is that what you ultimately wanted to achieve? Or were you like, I'm going to play the long game and
big
make a left
fantasy
and be a
football
fantasy
guy.
football guru?
Yeah. No, the goal was to be in football for a long time. The lifestyle is a little different than I'm from Massachusetts, and like moving out to Kansas City when I first got out there, like your first like few years out of college, between high school reunions, like 5-year high school reunion, my friends who were on like the early adopters of getting married and like having kids, you're like, shit, like I'm 3 years out of college and I have not been to one significant life event.
Right.
That probably weighed on me more than I expected it to.
Yeah,
so I think it was more of a life decision.
The 5-year reunion is a crock of shit.
Yeah.
Totally.
No,
You're like
you put so much weight into it at the moment. You're like, oh, I got to have my shit together. I got some friends that are like making 6 figures in finance.
Right.
And in reality, the 5-year reunion is basically, it's utterly meaningless.
You're like the anti-Ty Lue.
Yes,
Remember when
I am.
Ty Lue said that he missed 6 different funerals, and everyone's like, dude, you had 6 funerals in like a month, and the Clippers sucked last year.
Right.
So you're the anti-Ty Lue, but that's respectable. So 2 years of the Chiefs.
Yep. Then I
where?
came back. I was living back in Massachusetts. I moved back in with my mom, which that's the kind of thing that'll humble you at whatever 24, 25 years old. And then
A little different than Todd Haley.
a little different than working with Todd Haley every single day. My mom had slightly different priorities than Todd did, and different schedule too. So and then I started like the media thing. I was like, and not to date ourselves, but like you guys remember like the days of having a blog. I mean, it's you guys came into prominence.
Yes.
We still obviously, you guys still obviously have a very strong online presence, but like Twitter was not in full force at that point. Obviously Instagram and TikTok and all this stuff was not nearly where it was. So I started the blog, and being in Boston, there's so many outlets there. So I had a million different places to try to reach out to, and I had the same experience that most people do. Like, no one responds to your emails, and then was one person, a guy at ESPN Boston, Mike Reese, who covers the Patriots for ESPN, who responded to my email, and that was the start of my ESPN career.
Wait, so you're a genius. 2 years with the Chiefs, you get to put that on your resume and be like, yeah, I worked in the NFL for 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best part is people are
That's
like,
incredible.
so like, you know,
Yeah.
you're the Mahomes, like really like, if not for your contributions, Patrick Mahomes would not be a Chief.
You never know.
Now,
I mean,
so.
it's the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Like maybe there was something
Can
that
you
you
prove
did
otherwise?
one day. You got Alex Smith the right smoothie. He went out there, played well. He ended up in the exact position to trade to draft.
You know, we actually had a gem of a quarterback room when I was there. This was pre-Alex Smith. So Matt Castle.
Oh.
So like.
Oh yeah, it was the baby Patriots.
Yeah. Yep. So Castle, Vrabel got traded there that same offseason. Vrabel, absolute legend, obviously. And I swore I was so positive he would never coach after football because he seemed like one of those guys that was like, you know, he was so like football clearly was like his entire life leading up to it. But one of those guys that just felt like whenever it was time, he was going to be so at peace with it. And he had accomplished so much that you're like, dude, like you can't possibly go up from being a 3-time champion and like whatever it was, 12 catches for 12 touchdowns. And here he is, whatever, a decade later and, you know, great head coach. But Brody Croyle, Alabama legend.
Yeah.
Could throw the ball a freaking mile. It was great.
Yeah.
And Matt Castle. And
Tyler Palko.
Palko was there. Yeah.
Palko threw that pass against the Bears to end a half Hail
Oh,
Mary.
yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Not many lefty quarterbacks anymore.
Yeah.
So, and then he had that game. He started on Monday Night Football against the Patriots, actually.
Tyler
So Palko, hey, he
what a
made his
legend.
mark. Great guy. Yeah, great dude.
Yeah, that's a solid quarterback room. That's just great names. I remember those Chiefs. They had a lot of people from the Patriots organization in the front office, right? And my theory has been that Belichick sends his disciples across the league to destroy other teams and then come home to tear down franchises from the inside. Did you get that vibe when you were there?
I mean, it's hard to argue otherwise, right?
Look at the track record. Yeah.
I mean, how many head coaches? Like, if you consider Vrabel a disciple, I feel like that's kind of
that's really
stretching,
count.
right?
Yeah,
he played for him. That feels
Yeah.
different to me. Like, is Kevin O'Connell a disciple? He played for Belichick, right? Like, but yeah, it has not been. I wouldn't say the track record is exactly sterling in the post-Patriot.
Are you?
Chapter of this.
My other theory is that you're a mouthpiece for the New England Patriots. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty much like how
you're
ESPN
friends with
hired me.
Belichick, right?
So prior to my Chiefs time, I spent 4. It's hard to call it an internship because I don't like. There's not like an online application that you go and you apply to like Patriots sort of like scouting intern. But I spent 4 summers and then I went to college in Connecticut. So getting home during winter break was easy. I went to for 4 straight years basically. I was at every Patriots training camp when I was back home for any kind of breaks. I was at the Patriot facility. I go to all the games, home and road games, which is awesome for me. And like the Super Bowl they lost against the Giants, the perfect season. There's like this infamous photo that friends send to me whenever it pops up. Me like gnawing on my long sleeve shirt
Frank
right behind Belichick. Very Frank the Tank style. So 4 years with the Patriots, which is kind of like I call it like my Rosetta Stone, right? Like that was where I kind of learned it all. I mean, Belichick may or may not have had a conversation with me on the way out the door. It was like, I think Kansas City will treat you well. Like haven't really infiltrated the Midwest yet. Let's give it a couple of years, see what happens.
They're building something
How
out
might
there.
not have
They got
worked?
a
I might have been the
quarterback room
person that snapped the
You were
streak,
like an
right?
advanced scout. Yeah, he set
I'm
you
just
up. Like,
getting
go
ahead
check
of
it
it,
out.
right?
Yeah.
It's like they've got Tyler Palko and Brody Croyle. They're up next. I want you to destroy that franchise.
But his Belichick's son, Steve, the one who's now their defensive play caller, and I, same age, so we were right there together. It was great. Had a blast. Great dude. Would be a great PMT guest one day.
Yeah, we want Belichick. We want the Bill
I know. He's
Belichick.
like one of your white whales.
Yeah.
Maybe do a double
Steve
duo.
actually, does he have the same Bill Belichick voice, or does he put that on just to mess with the media?
Like that is a carbon copy.
That's
it's
awesome.
like a little bit
it.
like it's disjarring where it's like it's just jarring. You're just like wait,
Yeah.
what? Like disarming. It's like
That's awesome.
they are the same people. Minus the hair.
Yeah. All right, let's talk some ball.
Let's do it.
I want to start with a thought starter. Give me the 7 teams that are going to the playoffs in the AFC.
You know what? I had I was hanging out with a buddy today here in Chicago, and he was like, "Have you guys talked about what you're going to discuss?" And I was like, "I figure we'll just crank it up,
Talk ball, yeah.
And then he was like, "Well, who's making the playoffs in the AFC?" So we had this conversation earlier.
Okay, good.
Division winners: Bills, big time all the way in. Bengals, Jaguars, Chiefs.
Okay.
I would say nothing
Jaguars,
surprising there.
okay.
You a Titans guy?
I feel like this is a classic Vrabel
It
spot
is
where
a-
everyone's forgotten the Titans.
It's definitely a Vrabel team.
And they had that losing streak last year where Tannehill was out for some of it. And like this will be the year that everyone's anointed the Jaguars.
Totally.
And it's like, oh shit, we forgot about the Titans.
Also, I don't know if you guys had the same experience watching quarterback. Mahomes talking about the Titans in the week leading up to their game was like, this was like Malik Willis was starting. And that game went to overtime. It was like Willis's first start. And he kept like, the defense is so tough and like one of the hardest groups we'll face all season. You're like, you do sort of forget the Vrabel effect. And then Jets, Dolphins, Ravens. So 3 teams from the AFC East.
Okay, so that means no Chargers.
No Chargers.
That means no Browns.
Yeah.
That means no Steelers.
No Steelers, yeah. I think the streak comes to an end this year.
It's so that I asked that because it's crazy how stacked the AFC is that you do the 7 teams and then you leave out like 3 or 4 teams that it's not inconceivable some of those teams could be in the Super Bowl.
So
like the Chargers, the Jets, like those.
They want. I mean, they all think they're going there this year, right? The question I always ask people is, so if you put the Steelers in the NFC South right now,
oh my God, yeah.
I think the Saints are gonna be legit. Obviously, I think they're gonna be good. But like, don't you feel pretty good about the Steelers competing for at least a wild card spot in the NFC?
Yes.
I mean, but you think that they're not going to be 500 this year?
I think the streak comes to an end.
Wow, that would be sad. I mean,
Which sounds crazy coming off the. No, I am after the preseason too, right? 5 touchdowns on 5 drives. I'm sure Steelers fans ever will be thrilled about this. If you look at that stretch, like the last month of last year, we were 5-9 at one point. Like the quarterback, and you play on the schedule. I'm not trying to say they have any influence over that, but like that was getting by the skin of their teeth last year.
Yeah.
And they're obviously incredibly well coached, and they do have tons of like individual talent. Just that like someone has to be last in that division, right?
Yeah.
And you think that's the Steelers, not the Browns? Are you backing on Deshaun Watson as a human?
So like I try to start there, pass on that one. So like, what's the more representative sample size? Is it 5 seasons or is it 1 season? The answer, like my brain wants to say it's 5 seasons where he was, this amazing top 5-ish quarterback, and then last year falls off a cliff. It's been like this preseason was pretty ugly from the Browns.
Yeah,
and like I feel like, and I could be wrong here, I feel like during the training camps, like beat writers probably tend to have like a much rosier outlook on the teams they cover. I feel like every team, we're days away from the season starting.
Best shape of their life.
I kind of feel like everybody's going to be better than they're actually going to be right now. But even like the Browns reporting has been pretty downtrodden about Deshaun's performance this summer. Like more questions than answers, like not totally sure this is going to pay off. And for a franchise that's had as many failures at the quarterback spot, like this would by far take the cake.
Yeah, it'd be the crown jewel. When you look at the contract that they gave him.
Yes.
But this is
absurd.
This is the team, and I think they wear this crown now. It may be that for a while the Chargers were there, maybe the Broncos were there previously, but like every year the Browns roster looks good.
Yeah.
Like, where's the major weakness for the Browns this year? I don't have a spot that I'm like, well, they don't, they have, they got wide receivers now. The offensive line's good. Nick Chubb's the man. Like defensively, it's like every level they've got a player who could be a legitimate Pro Bowl or defensive player of the year like Myles Garrett. So it's hard to pinpoint like that part is a major weakness for them. But until they prove it, it's like they have that sort of stink on them that the Chargers in recent years and even the Broncos, which we thought would go away last year with Russ, have had in the past like half decade.
So why Chargers no playoffs?
Probably,
it's a bold take. I like it.
Just vibes.
Vibes
in general.
No. They, vibes may be a little bit contributing to it.
They always get injured.
They always get injured.
Yeah.
It's like it's just a thing, right?
The second half of that Jaguars game, that was the ugliest football. I've never been angry at a team than I have when I was watching the Chargers just blow that.
Yeah, and I feel like, and right when I think right after Herbert signed his extension, like they had a video that had been pre-made, and like it's somehow like it referenced that game, and I'm like, what are we doing right now? Like, dude, we just got the guy signed up. He's now signed for 7 more years. I'm like, I don't need to hear about. Yeah, it was great. Great first half. No, like the Chargers, like I think that the argument against a team, any team that you like in the AFC not making the playoffs is much more an argument about teams that you do like, right? Like,
right.
Ravens, I think, are a sleeping giant. I think they're like, at this point, you can't call them a sleeping giant, but a team that probably is not discussed as much as Buffalo, Kansas City, and Cincinnati, I think is awesome. They always punch above their weight. And
Tyler Huntley almost beat the Bengals.
Like we used to
Pro Bowler.
Yeah, Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley. But like the vibes are legitimately like, has a team changed how you felt about them more from the start of the the offseason to right now? Like there was a time where it felt like Lamar was done, like would never play there again. They had no wide receivers, and all of a sudden you're like, Lamar, 5 years, great, fired up to be there. Last year was just bizarre at the last like
it was.
I know it was an injury, but I think we'd all be naive if we think that like his contract and his just general frustration with the organization was not contributing to it. So I love the Ravens this year, and then I'm having a hard time, like the Jets and the Dolphins, like I'm having a hard time finding a way to differentiate between the two of them. Like the Jalen Ramsey injury doesn't help, but they should be so much better. Dude, Vic Fangio.
I forgot
dude,
Vic Fangio was there, and it's like, damn.
Like,
he's so good.
He's a walking top 10 defense.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of what McVay did when he brought in Wade Phillips.
Yeah,
it's like you got the new school guy, you got the old school guy running the show on defense. It tends to work.
Yeah. He'll get the most out of him. That's just what Vic Fangio does.
Like coming into last year, it wasn't lack of talent that betrayed them on defense. Like they just didn't play well at all last year defensively. And you know, with the Jets, like you know, the offensive line will be discussed a million different ways. And what makes me nervous about any of the teams that I picked is that if you just go through, and I try to do this for every single team, but like the Jets' first 4 games: Bills, Cowboys, Patriots, Chiefs.
Yeah.
Like if you go 1-3 there, or
like
0-4 is possible, then the whole season has, you know, that's like it's
you're fighting an uphill battle. Yeah,
it's impossible. I mean, it's basically impossible. But yeah. So Chargers, the argument's probably less about them and more about just like the strength of the Ravens, Jets, and Bills.
I'm sorry, it's not you, it's me.
Yeah,
for any team that you're leaving out of the AFC.
Yeah, there are a lot of people listening to this podcast. I got to make sure that I protect myself
There's no
a little bit, right?
No one will get mad at you. That's fine.
Have you ever met a Chargers fan in real life? I've met one.
Yeah, well, we have Shane.
Shane,
one of our producers.
All right, there's my first.
Yeah.
So how about this? Let's do give me your top 6 quarterbacks in the NFL, and then we'll delete one of them.
Okay.
And we'll put it on a graphic so one fan base will get really angry at you.
Oh, okay.
And we won't tell you which one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So delete Mahomes.
Well, we
we won't
Mahomes.
tell you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, and man, it's hard to not have Aaron Rodgers on this list even after last year. But I will go with Lamar Jackson.
Okay. So you are a believer in Aaron Rodgers this year because we had a discussion. Hank and PFT think Deshaun Watson is going to have a better year than Aaron Rodgers.
I didn't necessarily say that. I don't think.
I think that's exactly what you
I
guys
might have
said.
I forget. I say a lot of things.
I think
but
that was the exact bet.
I just think that it's. I think that it's always more difficult than you think to just transfer into a brand new organization.
But he brought
and
all
think
his
that
guys.
Everything is going to be the same.
I got sucked in by Hard Knocks. Like this may not be like a vintage Hard Knocks season. Yeah.
No, I know. Me too. I'm now a full-on believer.
You know, like it's such a ridiculous and like oversimplified way of analyzing football, but it's like, yeah, he just seems so enthused and happy again, right? Like, but it makes me think more and more that while Aaron Rodgers got that extension a couple of years ago in Green Bay and like played nice for an extra year or two, like he wanted out, and like this has energized him in a way that could legitimately impact the product on the field. So if the Jets can protect Aaron Rodgers, they'll be fine.
Yeah, I also think
that's a big if though.
It is a huge
they
if
don't
because
look
he goes
great.
from Green Bay, which is maybe the best offensive line in football, or at least one of the 3 best offensive lines in football, to the Jets, who there's like 1/5 of the offensive line I feel definitely really good about.
Oh, give us top 5 offensive lines.
Ooh,
this is good. This is important. Eagles.
Eagles number 1. I will go with Packers, Chiefs, Cowboys, and I'm trying to think of
Lions.
Is there like Lions? Good one. Yes, thank you for answering that for me.
Okay.
Lions right there in the mix as well. Browns would be another one that I would consider. Not to like get too football like nerdy here, but there's like an epidemic right now of offensive line depth. That was one of the biggest things that I remember. Like during preseason, I'm like, holy, like you're one injury away from like a serious problem arising right now.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I mean, there are people who feel like the influence of the spread offense in college has led to these offensive linemen are playing. Yeah, I mean they're playing from a 2-point stance every single snap, right? And like the habits. This is like some of my scouting buddies will talk about how like there are offensive linemen that we draft, and the first thing we have to do before we can like train them in our system is untrain them in their system. Right? It's like a 2-step process where the development period is a lot longer, and we've never had more impatient GMs or owners really in the NFL that like you whiff on a 3rd-round pick, and it's like you're held accountable in a way that you probably weren't a decade ago.
And it also that's interesting because it does. Like my answer for the AFC is basically whichever 7 teams are going to be the healthiest, and I know that sounds very reductive and like no duh.
Yeah, but that's the answer.
It's so loaded that it's like whichever team can basically avoid the huge injury bug of this list of 11, 12 teams that you could say are like have a legitimate chance will be the teams.
Yeah. There's like 3 teams maybe in the AFC that I'm like, I have a really tough path. Like, I think like Houston is going to be a really tough path to get to the playoffs. Indy's going to be like a really tough path to get to the playoffs. Maybe like I'm not there with the Raiders, right? Like sort of they're in this weird, not quite an identity crisis right now as a franchise, but like they spent $250 million a year ago. And then this offseason, it was like trading away players like Darren Waller and sort of like keeping the band back together and trading away, or cutting Derek Carr. Like, I don't know that on paper, I think they're like a much better team than they were last year when they were 6-11. So other than those 3, like I think every other team is kind of telling itself right now, like, yeah, we plan to make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
What about one guy I'm very excited about? This might just be from watching too many YouTube videos on watch out for this guy. He's going to be the biggest weapon that you don't see coming. And Justin Ross on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Like they basically got what should have been a first-round pick.
Yeah.
And they got him for nothing. And I saw one highlight where the Chiefs tweeted out, like, you just got Rossed.
Yeah.
And he looks unstoppable. And with him and Patrick Mahomes together, I feel like he's going to be a touchdown machine.
Fantasy brain in me has spent like way too much time this offseason talking himself into every Chiefs wide receiver.
Yeah.
Right? Like you could put the least talented receiver in the NFL in the Chiefs and I'd be like top 25 outcome. Like upside is there, right? Like you have Mahomes, you got a chance, right? But dude, like Justin Ross in college, like his freshman year was like one of the best players in the country.
Yeah.
He had some really scary neck issues during college, which kept him off the field for a while, and that was part of the reason why he went undrafted. But like finished off his college career on a high note and definitely has like some of the unteachable stuff, like size and speed. I'm trying to like sort of probably the biggest thing that's allowed me to contain the hype is just that like last year they didn't have a dominant receiver and Mahomes still had the NFL in passing yards.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Mahomes, like Justin Ross could be a healthy scratch or he could like not be on the team in week 3 and they'll probably still average 32 points per game.
System wide receivers.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
He also gets the benefit of, I'm going to think that he's John Ross, who I still believe in.
He's so fast.
Yeah.
So fast.
I know when he retired, I think that was like a month ago. I was like, that like took a little piece out of my heart.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell? That guy, how'd he fail? He was so fast.
And like now watching these college football players like getting ready for the 2024 draft already, I'm already like I'm gonna fall. Like there are certain things that are just incredibly difficult to not be totally like enamored by, and like a guy who can run a 4, like there's always a soft spot in my heart for a 4.2 guy.
Yes,
John Ross, different.
Yes,
different. Let's talk about something you don't really spend that much time on ESPN. Hank's favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
big year for them.
You guys don't really discuss them that much. They're flying under the radar a little bit.
It's so funny you say that. Like, so I've been, so Laura Rutledge, the host of NFL Live, was on maternity leave for the summer. So I spent 4 months sitting in for her, and I'm not exaggerating. I like it's just like part of the calculus, right? Like it
makes sense.
Dude, it would be production negligence to not talk about that.
People get mad at us when we talk about LeBron. It's like, but people want to hear about LeBron.
Oh, they want to hear about it. Yeah,
that's just a fact.
We find a way. So we find a way every day. It's like, and I'm telling you that like the numbers would bear out that like if you did a extremely nuanced conversation about like I think the Vikings like front seven's like really looking strong this year, and like you broke down each player individually, and then it was like, will Dak improve or regress this year?
Does Dak suck?
Will Dak throw left-handed this year? It's like, and we'll do that for 7 minutes.
That's a good segment. Let's talk about, does Dak suck?
Yeah.
No, Dak doesn't suck.
I think
he sucks.
He sucks.
He sucks.
Dak
Prescott sucks at football.
He sucks.
He is a byproduct of the star on his helmet. I'm a big, I've become like
he got beat up at Panama City Beach on spring break. He sucks.
That was probably the point that we knew is a little bit of a question about his future. No, I am a Dak guy.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? Yeah, I mean like
like seriously.
You know what's funny? It's a good question. All right, so here's the answer: is that like I feel like so much the NFL is not like the NBA, where I feel like the NBA, so much of our interest is the offseason, right? Like we're just as like. James Harden's next team is just as like interesting as like what he's doing that current season, right? I feel like with the NFL, it's really not the case except for when it comes to quarterback futures, right? It's like going into this season, like every year 3 quarterback, it's like, hey, if Mac Jones doesn't ball out this year, like are the Patriots in the like could they be a Caleb Williams team next year? It's like they haven't played a game yet. Justin Fields, if the Bears have 2 first-round picks, like could they be the team, right? That they have that 5th-year option that you have to pick up after this year. So quarterback's the only spot where I feel like a quarterback's future is a 365-day topic for
Yes.
us, even in the heat of like, hey, it's week 7. Like,
Yes.
we're coming off of an epic Monday night game. So I think where I am predisposed to think about it is like, even after trading for, like, the Cowboys did not trade for Trey Lance to replace Dak Prescott next offseason, right? Like, they're going to keep Dak around. And by the way, at some point, I expect Dak to sign like a pretty unbelievable extension, like probably $50 million or more per year. And it's going to, like,
crazy.
the internet's going to hate it.
He sucks,
He doesn't
dude.
suck. No, I'm a Dak
I wish
guy.
I was a shitty quarterback.
I'm a Dak guy. I think that like this will be a bounce back Dak season. I'm
A bounce back Dak season.
I'm
Right,
in.
right to quote. All right,
yeah,
so
bounce back.
give
Put
us
that
this.
one,
Give us the 7 NFC teams that
All
are
right.
gonna make. But probably in a weird way, as hard as it is with the AFC, it might be harder for the NFC.
Yeah, because you have to find
you
7,
have to
right?
find dig for those 6 and 7.
Division winners, Eagles. NFC North, I don't like. I picked the Vikings previously, and I could not warm up to that pick that strongly. But Eagles, Vikings, Saints, I feel good about that one.
Yeah.
And then 49ers.
Okay.
Seahawks make it back this year.
Okay.
Cowboys, Lions for the 7th.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Lions get it. So Giants out.
Yeah, but
Interesting.
like they're going to be better than they were. Like, they're a more talented team than they were last year. But you go back to last season, and there's very few things that you can like definitely count on year over year in the NFL. One thing you can count on is like close game luck will not persist.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why the Vikings are like a close call, even after going 13-4. But was it every game except for 2 last year was a 1-score game in the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
Couldn't you
Like
say though
11-0,
that
I
if
think.
if you win a lot of close games and you do it consistently, wouldn't you say like Brian Dable has something to do with that? They're doing the small things correctly
Definitely.
to make the ball bounce their way. I know you can't control like fumble luck. That's one of our favorite things to look up.
Yeah.
Is fumble luck.
There
But
are like certain places in sports where I buy that. It's like Chris Paul. I mean, in a prior iteration of Chris Paul, his teams were always great in like clutch time, like, plus minus or whatever. But like there are very few like teams that I think have shown themselves capable of keeping it up year over year. Even the Chiefs, a couple of years ago, like I think it was the year after like the Mahomes breakout. Maybe it was the second year. I mean, Mahomes is so ridiculous that every year feels like a little bit like more of a breakout. But they started the season like 3-4 because it was like after winning every close game. Now it was Mahomes' second season. They didn't cover, but they won like 12 straight to end the season. But they covered one of those 12. And then the following year they started 3-4. It's just like hard to the Raiders are the evidence of this last year. The Vikings will be evidence of this year. But going from 13-4 to like 10-7 is still
And
probably
the
good
NFC
enough to
North
make the playoffs.
could do it.
It's the Giants definitely had some fourth quarter favor last year that is difficult to replicate.
You're
But
talking about the officials in the Commanders Giants game.
Potentially. You said it, not me.
That was horseshit.
I know.
That was
Was that Monday Night Football? Sunday Night Football.
That was
Sunday
such
night.
bullshit.
Yeah, I
The
remember
Terry
that being
McLaurin
so
lining up, the
disappointed.
judge throwing a flag on him even though he checked. That was bad. We're going to get back to Field Yates in a second. He's brought to you by Sleep Number. Sleep Number smart beds learn how you sleep, and they provide personalized insights to help you learn to sleep better. Science shows that quality sleep helps improve your mental, emotional, physical, and relationship health. If you're waking up tired, here's some tips to help you sleep your best. If you have a tough workout, the Sleep Number smart bed can help you get the quality sleep that you need to recover faster and perform at your best. By contouring to your neck, shoulders, back, and hips, the Sleep Number smart bed provides support and even weight distribution for more comfortable sleep. If you're sleeping hot this summer, I sleep so hot. I sleep hot at night. I got to kick the sheet off. I got to kick the blanket off. I sweat. Sleep experts recommend keeping your bedroom temperature 65 to 68 degrees for comfortable sleep. An air conditioner or a fan plus temperature balancing Sleep Number smart beds and bedding can help you keep your cool so you both sleep just right. If you disagree on comfort, well, 8 out of 10 couples prefer a different mattress firmness than their partner. Sleep Number smart beds let you choose from your ideal firmness on each side, then they automatically respond to your individual movements throughout the night to keep you both sleeping comfortably. Sleep next level. Unlock your unique potential with a smart bed that can perform as well as you. Now, don't miss Sleep Number's biggest sale of the year. All beds are on sale. All beds. Save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed, plus special financing for a limited time, only at Sleep Number stores or sleepnumber.com. See store for details. Field's also brought to you by Omega Accounting Solutions. Recover the payroll taxes that you overpaid as a refund of up to $26,000 per employee, even if you got the PPP loan. Learn if you're a good candidate in less than 10 minutes. You get a free consultation. Omega was recently named the #1 best ERC company for getting your ERC funds by Merchant Maverick, a small business comparison and review site. There's still time to find out if you qualify. You can file your claim Again, that's up to $26,000 per employee. That's amazing. Call 855-505-DAVE or visit OmegaTaxCredits.com/BarstoolSportsNow. That's 855-505-DAVE or visit OmegaTaxCredits.com/BarstoolSportsNow. And now here's more Field Yates.
Vibes are high right now with your Commanders, though.
They are
extremely high.
I've been telling people we have the system. We have Patrick Mahomes' system now.
Yeah,
the
we
enemy.
do. Also, there's it's usually when a quarterback goes in the 5th round and we're talking ourselves into him, I'm kind of like, he still went in the 5th round, right? Like it's still it probably happened for a reason.
You didn't see Stephen Chase mock draft, the way too early one.
Yeah, no.
We had Sam Howell number 1 overall.
I was starting to, for something I'm working on right now at ESPN, I started to look back at, because I was looking at some stuff for this upcoming year, and you're looking back at the first mock drafts from prior years, and it's just a reminder of how much can change from year to year. And I saw Sam Howell, number 1 overall, and North Carolina's beyond Drake May, they've got 2 receivers, they're loaded this year and skill position players on offense, but they had that baby drought during Sam Howell's final year at North Carolina that I think maybe the NFL overthought it on Sam Howell.
Yeah, if you were to redraft Sam Howell right now.
Amongst the second-year quarterbacks?
Yeah.
So it's Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, Sam Howell, and who am I forgetting? I'm sure there's somebody. Oh, Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Bailey Zappi.
Matt Corral.
Still in the mix. I think Kenny Pickett will be 1, and then I think it would be I think Sam Howell will be 2.
There we go.
So we're already moving off the
maybe
board.
Maybe moved up to a 2nd-round pick.
I got a fan of 49ers fans, I'm sure, throw with that. Yeah, it's a Brock Purdy, Sam Howell conversation. Brock Purdy's going to be a fascinating player this year, too, because don't want to take away from a kid who helped them win a ton of games last year, but, that is as brilliant of a coaching system as there is right now.
He's got expectations now for him,
Yeah, I loved going back to preseason. I think it was the final 49ers preseason game. Brock Purdy threw a 4-yard out to Brandon Ayuk, who ran 47 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah.
And football aggregators have definitely taken over, Twitter these days, right?
Yes.
And one of them posted just took the clip from the NFL and just posted it all caps, Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
And you're respect.
Brock Purdy.
I respect the dedication to Brock Purdy loyalty.
Do you think that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan should be fired for drafting Trey Lance?
I think I'm gonna have to side with Will on that one.
Yeah.
It's you could go through every NFL GM, every head coach, and find several flaws. I think that it was a bad pick. Obviously, it was a major whiff. They should have stuck to their guns. Which, if they had, I truly feel like the internet persuaded them.
Really?
When they made that trade was made in March.
Yeah.
Which you don't see a lot of trades made that early before the draft. A lot of them are day of the draft, or even the Bears trade with the Panthers last year was fairly early. That was, I think, the Friday before free agency. Usually it's the days or the hours leading up to the draft. They made that trade in March. And at that point, we all knew Trevor was going 1, but it was probably leaning heavily towards Zach going 2, but there was still some question mark about who the 49ers would have at their disposal at pick 3. And Shefty, who of course is as dialed in as anybody, was like, yeah, the intention is to take Mac Jones. And then that had, I don't know, maybe a week's worth of momentum. And then everybody was like, how could you take Mac Jones 3rd overall, even though he had just thrown for 5,000 yards, led Alabama to a perfect season, and was absurd. And then it became the upside of Trey Lance. My football buddies talk about this all the time. Whenever they're in meetings, when they're talking about players on a different team, they can always talk themselves into the upside of a guy more so than they can their own team.
Right.
Right. Yeah, this guy, we're sitting here examining. He got cut. He's on the waiver wire today. The upside's kind of intriguing.
Right.
It's dude, he got cut from the worst team's defense in the NFL. The upside probably is what it is. Right. The upside is probably you claim him and then he's cut in 2 weeks. So
people think they can fix a problem.
Of course.
Right.
You love Jay. So I used to talk about this with Jay Cutler all the time, is that coaches are built with a certain, I say this in a way of admiration. They have an arrogance about them,
right,
which is part of the reason why they're successful. Jay Cutler was the litmus test for that, right? Because Jay was so talented, right, but hadn't experienced a ton of team success. But every coach who coached him was this guy can be, I can make this guy great.
Right.
Our team can be great with him. And by the way, Adam Gase was rewarded for that in Miami that year when he got him out of retirement and helped them win a lot of games. But that's, I think, the case often with quarterbacks is you see, you don't bother with quite as much of the downside as you do by being enamored by the upside. And I don't know what the future is for Trey Lance, but when you factor in being the Cowboys' backup for at least this year and probably next as well, that's going to be 5 full seasons basically of not playing football.
Not playing football, yeah.
Like how can you expect that guy to be like? Yeah. And in 20,
actually 6 because he only played 1 game in the COVID.
Well, 4 of the NFL and 1 of college. That they had that Central Arkansas game his final year at North Dakota State, and you're like, so 5 full years, and is anybody going to be, unless Dak gets hurt and Trey plays?
Yeah.
Now that we talked about him glowingly, like is Trey going to have like a market to become a starter in 2025?
There will be a coach that's like
someone will dislike
Trey Lance. He was picked what, 3rd overall?
I'd fall for that all the time.
I mean, even the Cowboys trading for him, I was like, of the teams that I had thought about, can guarantee I put 0 seconds of effort into the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Like I never, like I had all the same usual suspects everybody else, right? Like would the Bucks do it? Would the the Vikings do it? Would the teams that have a question mark after this year, would they consider doing it? And the Cowboys never registered for me.
Yeah.
This is a tough question, but you're a smart guy.
Yeah.
What's the next zag in the NFL? Like we've seen it, obviously passing is king now. Now you've seen a lot of teams play cover 2, and we had that whole discussion like, can Mahomes beat this dink and dunking down the field? What's the next thing you see coming, whether it be defense or offense, that teams are going to start to do?
I think we're seeing this, like the Giants are probably the best example of it right now with like the approach they have, but positionless defense, baby. Let's go.
Okay.
Might get things
Amoeba,
difficult
right?
for the amoeba defense.
I like
the
this.
old Rex
Good answer.
special. But so the Giants made a trade in the preseason for Isaiah Simmons, who you guys remember from Clemson. I mean, freak. I remember I was at the Combine the year that he was coming out, and it was like jaw-dropping. Everybody was talking about him and only him amongst the 250 guys that were there. And you're like, it doesn't matter where he plays. He's going to be insane.
Right.
And instead, he goes to the Cardinals. And the problem was he was like never good enough anywhere to ever stick. So that's why he got traded for, a 7th-round pick. But Wink Martindale, their defensive coordinator, is just crazy enough to do so, like just be like, you know what? He's played safety, linebacker, slot corner. He's going to be a nose tackle for us. And next thing you know, he's going to have 8 sacks and make the Pro Bowl. We're all going to be like Wink friggin' Martindale. So, but we're seeing more and more of that now. Like I remember being at the Senior Bowl this past year and seeing like 220-pound linebackers or like these defensive ends who look wiry, but they can they're just unblockable for these tackles that aren't Trent Williams type athletes. So that could be one that we could see more of.
I like that answer.
There's a kid from Iowa, Cooper DeJean, the defensive back, who's like ball hawk. I don't know if he's a safety, corner, linebacker in the NFL, but just finds the ball. And like we're seeing, I think we're like, that's one example of many of the defensive players in this upcoming draft that are going to be like more and more in vogue these days in the NFL.
Okay.
I love that. I remember the Steelers with their zone blitzes. They used to drop James Harrison back into coverage sometimes.
Yeah, dude, James could do it all.
He was a monster.
Also, the only person like that, I think the only person that trains harder after they retired than
Terrifying.
makes no sense to me.
Well, J.J. Watt now.
JJ.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of those 16-ounce curls. Drinking those Guinnesses. What about on the offensive side?
I guess like the NFL is due to pay like more of a tight end tax. One of the things that I will never understand, and I think he would certainly have a leg to stand on if he decided to make this his fight. Travis Kelce would be like the 27th highest paid wide receiver if you just made him a wide receiver right now.
Right.
Like it's absurd that a guy how many wide receivers are you right now unquestionably taking over Travis Kelce for this season? Like you could trade Travis Kelce.
3 maybe?
Yeah, like maybe it's
Jefferson, Jamar Chase.
And like
DJ Moore.
Maybe Tyreek. Maybe.
Have a conversation.
Have
a conversation. Yeah, seriously, right? Like the Chiefs kept, they kept Travis Kelce, but like you can make a conversation around like maybe 3 or 4 of them. He makes like half of what Tyreek Hill makes.
Yeah.
And it's hard, there's obviously only so many of these good tight ends, but we're due for like a little bit of a tight end tax because there are guys like Brock Bowers from Georgia this year is going to be a problem. Like there's some legit college prospects that give me some hope that the tight end spot can get closer in line. It was why when the running back, everybody, like that was like a great June to early July conversation was running back markets and how we need to like fix the system, right? Like
you can't really fix the system. The way that it's set up, it's like
my buddies in the league.
GMs are doing.
They were just like, you guys are what a waste of your time. You guys are the biggest fucking idiots talking about the system. Like it's never gonna happen. Like we're not going to undo the CBA to like just correct
running backs.
You can't do
running
it.
backs.
Yeah, mid CBA.
What's-
Maybe
what's-
next time we could talk about something different with a franchise tag. You can
Sure,
do,
if
but
you want to talk about that and apply it to all positions, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like people are saying, like running backs deserve the chance to renegotiate as soon as after one season. Like Patrick Mahomes should deserve to negotiate after one game.
Right.
If that's like if we're just
Right.
going to bend the rules, right? Like
Right.
that should be how it is. So
Ooh, I like that though.
after one game,
all contracts are game by game.
that could be
Yeah.
complicating, but good.
Yeah.
Yeah, salary
Like, are
cap
we gonna
managers
keep
everywhere
him?
would love that, right?
He had a bad game.
I have no idea how the draft works in this respect. But if you're a top running back,
Yeah.
coming out of college,
Yep.
and you just maybe it's after your junior year, you don't declare for the draft until after the draft's over, and then
Go for the supplemental draft.
go for the supplemental draft, or I don't know. Is there a way that you can get that supplemental draft pick used on you, and then the contract's going to be different, so you hit free agency a little bit faster? I don't know.
Bad idea. There are some ways to game the system. Like, probably your best bet would be like fake an injury because you'd become an
I'd be great at
undrafted
that.
free
Yeah,
agent.
I'd be awesome at that.
Undrafted free agents are eligible to extend after 2 seasons, so you could be up to
Yeah.
something here.
You got to eat shit for 2 years, but then you get that big contract. That
Who do
you're
you
waiting
think it's a different year this year? But like, who do you think's I know it's early, but do we have any like the best back in college football right now?
Braylon Allen.
Braylon Allen probably is on the short list, right?
The kid from Notre Dame, pretty
yeah,
damn good.
He looked pretty
Yeah.
damn good. Week
Yeah.
1, week 0. Will Shipley from Clemson's going to be a really good player.
Yeah.
The back from Arkansas, Rocket, what's his last name right now? He's going to be a good player. But like maybe like one of them has to have the gumption. Like bowl game, like during media availability, you just get up there and just crumple on stage.
twist an ankle
Yeah.
walking up the steps.
It's got to be more than that.
Okay.
And then you're out for 18-month recovery.
Yeah.
You're not going to have me until like maybe the following year.
Okay, so
And then instead be good, like Kevin Nash style.
Yeah.
After the draft,
Yeah.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Who's taking me?
Yeah, who wants me?
2
I
years
like
from
it.
now, I'm extension eligible.
All right,
we're
since-
figuring this out.
I like it since we're talking dumb rules.
Yeah.
So we're gonna run this the Tuesday or Wednesday after Labor Day, but this is as we're taping it, cut day.
Yep.
What if you just didn't cut anyone? Would the NFL stop you? If you're like, nah, we're just
No,
gonna
we're
have
good.
65 guys.
We're just gonna keep them all. Yeah, I think that might be.
Someone should call their bluff.
I actually don't know what because like
Yeah.
you have to be roster and cap
Who
compliant
says?
every day. Yeah, the NFL says that, but I don't
Okay.
know what the repercussions are.
Yeah,
You have a guy
right.
that checks that?
Yeah, like every day there is someone who is like with a fine-tooth comb going through and being like, do you have, during the offseason, 90 or fewer players? Are you under the salary cap?
See, yeah.
And this offseason, like the Chiefs have been dancing with like, there was a time where the Chiefs a couple of years ago, and this is what happens when you have a lot of good players. They had $141 left in salary cap space.
That's awesome.
141.
They're like the drill tweet with their budget.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like somebody is sitting there and it's like, you can't make a move until you've like do several other things. And they ended up, the NFL salary cap is obviously so you can manipulate it so much that they ended up at one point with like 30 million after that $141.
Yeah, the Chiefs or the Saints have been in cap hell for like 5 years.
If I feel like this, like one day I'll like this will be like the hill that I die on is that like you can do what the Saints do and what the Eagles do. You just have to keep doing it in perpetuity.
Yeah,
it's
forever.
getting off the train that's really tough.
Right.
Like going back to the middle, which is what the Bucks and the Rams are both dealing with right now, right? They went all in. They won a Super Bowl each. Now the Bucks want to get back to their approach, and it's really hard. Like besides Baker Mayfield, like they had a very quiet offseason because they had no resources to work with, and they wanted to get back to where they had been prior to that. So you can do it. You just have to be committed to it forever.
Tell one of your guys, just don't cut anyone.
See
I
what
just would like to see what would happen.
I feel like
if
that's
you're like a college team and you just show up with 90 guys on the first week,
yeah.
like you have to duplicate some numbers.
Probably. Yeah, but the NFL, we've seen some of that in the NFL now. Especially with all the like the new number, like jersey number changes. I feel like we're seeing so many. Like it always cracks me up when like some team like unknowingly like issues, I don't know, like the star wide receiver's jersey number to like a undrafted rookie safety, and like the receiver's like, dude, like I'm 17, like that's my territory.
That just
You
means
guys,
that
like,
guy's going to get cut. The
Yeah,
other guy's
it's
gonna
like,
get
no,
cut.
dude, like we promise you, it's not going to be an issue in like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
so,
Teddy Bridgewater wearing 50.
Ugly.
Yeah, terrible.
But
Had
he
to have a
said he's
conversation
like, I'm
about
just
it.
going to get another number if I make the team.
I mean, sure, but
Yeah.
they couldn't like. Was there nothing else available?
I don't know.
Like, was there nothing between 1 and 19 that they couldn't double issue?
What's to stop an owner from just like writing extra checks or sending Venmos to guys?
Wasn't
Be
that
like,
always
hey,
the
I'm
Dirk
not-
Nowitzki theory?
Yeah,
When,
I'm
like he
not-
started taking a bunch of like, he took like the I think one of his last deals with the Mavs was like, I don't know, a third of his market.
Yeah, it's like, hey, listen, we can't give you a big contract because of the salary cap.
Right, yeah.
But I can Venmo you $50,000 every 3 days.
But you have a very rich owner now, and for the Commanders, this could be it.
Yeah, go cheat. I'm all about cheating. Like
You
just
should
do
just work on handshakes first.
whatever. Yeah, well, that Joe Buck set him up. Do you agree? If I go like that, Field, what do you do?
Oh, you're coming
What's your
you're
instinct?
reaching in like,
Yeah,
hey, let's
yeah,
go.
exactly.
I will say this,
Joe
though,
Buck's
it's
a
like-
piece of shit. He should be ashamed of himself.
And I remember like it was one of those moments where you're watching it, and like definitely, as you guys can imagine, I spent a lot of time on Twitter, but like that was one of those moments where I was not watching. I was just watching the game, like not on social media. I was like, that happened. Like that happened,
did
right?
happen,
Like
yeah.
I need to get to Twitter. I figured one of you guys
Yeah.
would have this covered, and it was like within moments you're like, oh, all right, the entire
That
like
did
I
happen,
didn't
yeah.
like that actually did happen here. So
So to me, I think that was a masterstroke by Josh Harris to deflect any conversation about the fact that he was wearing a burgundy polo shirt.
yes,
That did not have the name Commanders on it.
Ooh, man.
Because I
Too
think he might be
stylish.
changing the name. He didn't want to be on camera and have everybody talking about, oh, they're changing the name. That's why he's not showing it.
Yeah.
So I'll just do this weird, awkward handshake, and I'll laugh at myself, and people talk about that instead.
I'm big time. I'm football team all the way through when they do change it.
Football team's
Yes.
good. Football team, that was a magical season.
Yeah.
It grew on me very quickly.
just makes
It
sense.
It was uncomfortable for a little while, and then it totally.
football
We
team.
play football.
Yeah.
We don't need a cartoon
It
bird
works,
telling us
kinda
to
fit with-
cheer.
yeah.
We're a fucking
It's a football team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just sort of just felt like it all worked.
Okay, so you said the Ravens that you're high on them. What are the other teams that you're high on that NFC or AFC? Field Yates is stamping approval of like, watch out for these guys.
I think the Seahawks are going to be really good this year.
Really?
Yeah, their offense. I mean, Jackson Smith and Jigba getting hurt in the preseason wasn't perfect, but I was talking earlier about how there's like no offensive line depth. The Seahawks are one of those few teams that actually has like a formidable first five and like a little bit of depth too. So they could be really good this year. And obviously Geno is going to be the pendulum for them. But like I thought that what he did last year was, as I've thought about it more and more, I started to wonder like, was he just like was some, not all, but was some of the first decade of his career more circumstance than it was ability?
Yeah.
Right, like if I were a backup quarterback, I don't think I would have signed to be Eli Manning's backup. I know that he did snap the streak eventually, but it's
Right.
Eli Manning's back. He never misses time. He
Right.
never missed a game due to injury in his career. Right, like that to me feels like the wrong place to wind up. And then going to Seattle was the same thing up until I think it was like the second to last season with Seattle. Russ never missed a game due to injury. He got that thumb injury off of Aaron Donald's helmet. And you're like, yeah, this would that'd be the last place I'd want to go, except for the fact that it's probably great job security.
Right.
Because like he just kept getting re-signed to a 1-year deal in Seattle. But I'm more in than out. Like accuracy is quantifiable in the sense of like completion percentage, but I think there's also like a different side to it. And like Geno, his ball placement is like some of the very best in the NFL. He was absurd last year.
It's very funny too that Russell Wilson leaves the Seahawks and then their offensive line gets amazing. Because for a long time, the knock against how Seattle was building the roster was like they just get fat tight ends and they just put whoever in. Like Tom Cable would build an offensive line out of duct tape and string. Be like, here you go, Russ. Go out there, make it work.
They sometimes did. Russ also, I'm like not to like take the offensive lineman off the hook. I feel like with those quarterbacks, like the only downside to the super athletic quarterbacks, I think, is that we don't like parse out sacks as like an offensive line or a quarterback issue. It's always the offensive line, right?
Right.
Like, no one says like the quarterback allowed 62 sacks last year. It's like the offensive line did, and it's like for as great as the mobility can be, it also like
He'd run
you can
into some.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd be like,
Yeah.
all right, like we might have just like thrown the ball away and been fine there. Like 2nd and 10's okay. Sometimes better than 2nd and 21. So that was part of it. But yeah, but it was a much different approach for Seattle this past year.
Yeah, Pete Prisco will always tell you Russ just like runs out of clean pockets all the time.
Yeah, it's a.
He watches the film.
Yeah.
Do you watch the
trust
film?
him.
I probably not am on Pete's level, but
Yeah,
I
Pete's
do.
a-
No
he's a
one
film
watches
crowd.
No
film
one's on
like
Pete's
that.
level.
He's like
Yeah.
Clockwork Orange in his office.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
tapes his eyes open. Just
More
watches
the
film
with
nonstop.
some of the stuff that I'm going to be doing now more at ESPN, more in the college film than the pro film because obviously on Sundays I have to work and then I'm watching all as many of the games live as we can. We have a great setup that allows us to watch all the
Wait,
games.
Do you get to watch with Chris Berman?
One of the coolest things over the past few years. So the past few years, ESPN's had Sunday NFL Countdown from New York City. But there are a few shows that still emanate out of Bristol. Ours, Fantasy Football Now on Sunday mornings is on ESPN2, and then primetime, which has been reborn over the past few years, has been on ESPN Plus, but in Bristol. So Boom and I got to sit next to each other for the past like 3 years. And
awesome.
it went from probably 50 people in the room to, in like a post-COVID world, like maybe 12 or 16 of us. And so I'm like Boom, who everything you'd imagine it would be and more.
Yeah,
like he still walks in with like his briefcase. He's got like several different newspapers, you know, like he's like, yeah, I comb, you know, he's a Connecticut guy. So I comb the Globe, I comb the Time. He's got like he's got everything. He's got digested all of his information. He's got all the lines ready. You know, he's got the entire Ivy League rundown from Saturday, you know, like
how'd Brown do, Boom?
Tough one for the boys yesterday, but you know, we're bouncing back and he's the best. And
that's awesome.
I mean, you guys, I don't need to tell you guys how great he is.
Does he let out a little whoop every now and again when he's watching?
The best is, you know, when something happens that like involves, like with Damien Woody be in the room. So if there's something Jets related, like, you know, just goes nods. Boog is in the room, Booger McFarland. Like he just got his certain teams. Lions has always been a big one for Boom. He's always had a special place in his heart for the Lions, but they've been so good recently that, didn't Jared tell you that like the best pass of his career was the touchdown to Amon-Ra St. Brown at the end of the game?
Yeah.
That moment, Boom, like couldn't contain himself. It's like, I just Lions? Like just
awesome.
For like 30 straight seconds, right? Just like getting up and walking around, and he's the best.
He owes us a Brock and roll all night and Purdy every day.
Oh yeah,
just remind him of that. Remind him of that one.
Him workshopping a nickname for me was like in front of my at the time girlfriend and now wife. She was like, did that just happen right there?
Yes.
Field of Dreams, Yates. I'm sure
Strawberry Fields forever.
Oh.
Yeah. All right.
You could do Field Yates of Hell. Like you did
that
with
would work.
TJ Yates.
Yeah.
Brother,
Yeah.
We get that happens often now. Like I've gotten to know TJ mostly because the internet has asked us, like has thought we were related. I went down for something in New York recently, and I got in the car from they had a car service from ESPN and MBD, but it was pretty sweet. And he was like, yeah, so like, how's your post-playing career treating you? I was like, I don't know what you're referring to. He's like, yeah, weren't you in league for a few years? And I was like, oh yeah, you know, like I was like, that's a pretty like good knowledge of like my background working for the Chiefs. And he was like, no, like, didn't you play for like Houston for a couple seasons? And I was like, oh, okay. I think you've like gravely mistaken me. But I immediately texted TJ, who's coaching for the Falcons now. He's doing a great job. And we've become friendly because of that reason. So if there was, for a while, there was like a cross section of the internet that thought we were related. Probably some people still do.
I think we should just keep that
let's keep it going.
I'm good with it.
Yeah.
The more successful. He's got like a couple cousins now who are playing college football. Like, so the Yates family.
You have a couple cousins.
I have a couple cousins. That's correct.
College football.
A couple of us.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's some Yates out there that have some athletic ability, and then there's D3 me.
Yeah.
So,
Wait, what position did you play?
I was a safety. Yeah.
Oh, what was your game like?
Bad. I started one game. I played 2 seasons. I played 2 seasons of football and 4 seasons of lacrosse. I think I had like maybe 1 start combined.
Oh, no wonder Belichick loved you.
Yeah. Well, lacrosse?
Lacrosse.
Yeah. Totally.
You're like, I'm a football player, but really lacrosse.
Yeah,
like,
lacrosse.
I got to get this guy.
I say people are like, yes, like tell us about your lacrosse career. I'm like, I was a great teammate.
Yeah. That's glue guy.
Made a lot of good friends.
Good,
I spent the day out here in Chicago with one of my college teammates. Like I'm like. Didn't matter how many starts I did or didn't have. It's more like, would this relationship exist if I hadn't played lacrosse with you, right?
This is the embodiment of the Belichick meme from the combine where he's got the binoculars. He hears about you.
This fucking guy.
I can work with this.
Hell
guy.
yes.
Yeah. Safety and special teams players. I tell people because when you say special teams, no one can like really check the box score on you.
Yeah.
Big time core special teams.
Yes.
So yeah.
I have one last question. I think PFT has a couple last ones too. But the rowback question: RHOBACK.com promo code TAKE.
No one's
20% off. You're wearing it right now.
Always. Yeah,
looks
every
great.
day. Yeah.
Q-zips, polos, hoodies, joggers, shorts, everything.
They're the best.
This has been great having you on. You now have to be a recurring guest more often. But we do have to ask a fantasy football question.
If you must.
You are a fantasy football guru, although it sounds like you're going to be a draft guy now.
We'll do some draft now in the future too, which will be exciting. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Looking forward to that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
Squeeze out Todd McShay, no big deal.
Jeez.
I mean, he's our friend.
He's the best.
Yeah,
I love Todd.
Why are you coming for his job then?
They didn't say that.
He's
You
the
said
best,
that.
but
Yeah.
you pushed him out.
Todd and I did a show together for several years. He is. I love Todd. We're both Massachusetts guys. We go way back.
Todd is the best.
He is.
All right. So fantasy sleepers.
I feel like when we did this with Florio a couple years ago, this was the one fantasy question you asked. All right, so give me like a 15-second, just like the reality of sleepers is that like if you're listening to this show, you probably know most of the names that people consider. You don't think so?
Nope.
All right, I'll try a couple here.
Say some names and we'll tell you the
teams.
So
like when I consider a sleeper is like, all right, hey, like 12th round and beyond in your fantasy draft, everything in the 12th round and beyond is like that's a sleeper.
That's when I go to auto draft.
Right. So like Jordan Addison, who I know you guys know, he's a first round pick, right?
USC,
but like he's going like way too late in drafts right now.
Very fast.
Zay Flowers from the Ravens as well. Matt Collins for the Falcons, like who was good last year and has like become this like sort of hidden gem of a character for the NFL these days. Like he'll be more productive. Like the Falcons wide receiver core is too thin for him to not have a legitimate role there. Elijah Moore for the Browns, and then with running backs, you have to find the running back room that you're not totally positive that the starter is going to keep his job for the full season. So like, I think Alexander Madison's going to be a good player for the Vikings, but until he's shown it for like an extended period, there's like the non-zero chance that Ty Chandler, they drafted a couple years ago out of UNC, is going to eventually become the starter. Roschon Johnson for the Bears, right? Like, Herbert looked good in the preseason. Khalil Herbert. Deontay Foreman was a good player for the Panthers last year, but like, would you be totally surprised if Roschon like had a real role at some point?
This is some good strategy.
Yeah, but like all the others, like all the like starting running backs are known, right? Like so you have to find the guys that just are one, not even injury. Everybody's an injury away from being useful, but like one sort of slump away from being
fumble.
Legit. And then Kenny Pickett was once a quarterback sleeper, but I think he's generated too much steam in the preseason.
What about Gibbs up in Detroit?
Yeah, he's going so high in fantasy drafts now that like people are just all in. Yeah,
is Bijan going in like the first round?
First round.
Jesus.
If I bet people who are listening right now saw Bijan go first overall, because in fantasy, definitely fantasy, we like things that we know and we like things that are shiny objects. Mahomes, best player in the world. He's going like 13th in fantasy.
I do 2 quarterback league though.
So he deserves to go, right? But like when there are like the variance between like Patrick Mahomes over the course of the season and like the 15th best quarterback is not nearly as significant as the variance from whether it's Christian McCaffrey or Austin Eckler at the top of the running back ranks and the 15th best running back. Like at the end of the season, you're going to be like, wait, like how was whatever, like Pierre Thomas, who's been retired for 7 years, the 15th best running back in fantasy this season. So quarterbacks tend to go earlier because of name value, and Jahmyr Gibbs, who is awesome and like in fantasy, I think one of the traps that people fall into sometimes is like just wanting to not be last, which is, it sucks to be last.
I didn't
but
fall
like,
into that trap for a baseball league.
So I've heard.
Hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah. I listen.
Not even close.
But like in fantasy,
you listen to that? Holy fuck, Field!
I got a lot of time.
Jesus Christ, dude.
A lot of walks in the morning.
That was torture.
You live in the city.
They're playing dingers only draft in Guantanamo right now.
I'm impressed. But like playing for like fourth or fifth, like that's fine. Like fourth or fifth is respectable, and like no one's gonna like comment on you positively or negatively. But like Jahmyr Gibbs is the kind of player that like I don't think he's gonna be average. Like I think he's either gonna be like, holy crap, why did the Lions use a 12th overall pick on a guy and then not use him that much? Or he's going to be Alvin Kamara 2.0.
Right.
And you'll be like, holy crap, like this guy, like Kamara as a rookie had 13 touchdowns, 81 catches. Like he was absurd. It took a little time to get there, but from week 6 or 7 on his rookie season was like the best running back in fantasy. And I feel like Jahmyr Gibbs, especially with no Jameson Williams the first 6 weeks, like after Amon-Ra St. Brown, that's it.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra moved up in my rankings after he came on PMT, by the way.
Dude,
he's awesome, he's intense.
Serious
is he the most alpha dude in the entire NFL?
When I told him I was a Bears fan, I thought he was going to jump the table.
Yeah, he
was crazy.
I texted a couple of my buddies of the Lions after that, and I was like, I got to be honest with you. I was like, I don't like when people overreact too much to just stuff they hear or see in the media like I do with Hard Knocks sometimes, but I'm like, I think I'm ready to run through a brick wall for Amon-Ra. And he was
fact
like,
that he's got every team that passed on him and who they drafted memorized.
16 receivers. He's like, he's the biggest dog in the entire locker room. Like, this guy's an absolute beast. He's like everything. He's like, he is the son of Mr. Universe. Like that is what he, like to a T. He is literally, but also like embodies what you'd imagine somebody would be if they pretended their dad was Mr. Universe.
Yeah.
What about for rookie quarterbacks?
Yeah.
Are you a Stroud boy or are you in Bryce's?
I'm a Stroud boy for fantasy.
Okay.
Because in fantasy football, you got to remember how valuable running quarterbacks are.
Yeah.
They set this unbelievable floor. Like Daniel Jones last year, even in years prior to that, like had flashes where he was like legit in fantasy. He played much better last year, but a big part of the reason why like he's going in drafts higher than like Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins right now is that like he is a legit rushing quarterback, and I feel like it's pretty normal for coaches to spend time talking about how their quarterbacks are going to run less. Like the Bills, I feel like for 3 years have been telling us like, yeah, we're going to protect Josh Moore, and then he just keeps running. The Giants have sort of alluded to like Daniel running for us is a huge weapon, and like why like take that away from an offense that will be better with Darren Waller and some receiver investments, but they're not. They're certainly not as far as like explosive plays go, like top 5 or anything in the NFL. So Daniel Jones, way more valuable in fantasy, even if he takes a step back this year in real life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good answers. Well, Field, this has been awesome.
It's great.
Yeah.
Appreciate you moving your schedule for us.
What's like an extra night in Chicago? Nothing,
yeah, I mean, we got the rapport. You're going to come back on. We could do Zoom next time.
Yeah. I'm back for the event next year.
Yeah, but we'll definitely have you back on during the season.
Let's
you
do
gave
it.
us some good answers. You passed the
tape.
test. Yeah.
Pass the time.
And I didn't know you were. Yeah, I mean, you're watching all the college tape now too.
Say that's the only thing about traveling these days. It's like usually I don't like to get away from my family for too long. It's just like the logistics. We were talking about this. I'm sure this is riveting for everybody. But like now you get the tape to grind. Like I was sitting there in the airport this morning.
You're doing the
I'm
Orlovsky.
sitting there, trying to
you're
pull
grinding
Orlovsky.
tape instead of
Just
jerking
got
off.
the tape.
Okay, nice.
Are you allowed
In the
to?
middle of the Hartford airport.
Are
Yeah,
you allowed to be in a room with a woman who's not your wife?
I believe so. Yes, that's
Okay.
confirmed.
You don't have
yeah.
the Mike Pence rules, the Orlovsky rules.
don't
Well,
have
I mean,
about
Jake
those.
probably wants to fuck you right now. So.
Jake and I we're after this. We're gonna hang out and talk to. I'm telling you, one day Jake will be my boss, and I have little doubt about that. I don't know what the sport will call together, but we'll find a way to make something happen.
Yes.
In a different life, I truly believe like I could have had like a very Jake approach to my like career. I told you guys, I get so proud watching him every time on the PLL or any of your guys' events. Like it's legitimately cool.
Yeah, we are proud of Jake. We have to bust his balls though. He cheats in golf.
Well, he's too much of an alpha, so we have to bring him down.
Yeah.
He came off. He had a good day on the course today.
Yeah,
so
don't believe
nobodies,
it. Don't believe it.
I saw one shot.
That's his vice. His one vice is fake hole in ones.
I'm just jealous of how much him and Hank can play these days. right?
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
I mean, hey, look at Hank. Hank looks like a lobster right now.
Hank did. He
Guy
gets some
just got
color
beat
today.
up by the sun.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but he got some good. He got some. I'm jealous of it. I'm envious.
Jake, did you offer Hank sunscreen today? I know you brought a lot out.
You didn't? Oh wow. Oh man.
Oh man.
Brutal. All right. Well, Field, thank you so much, man.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, Field.
At least I didn't get caught kissing Vicky Butterman's big butt in the woods.
That's not true. Boys, did I interrupt?
Mom, you stupid bitch, get out of here.
Well, pardon me, and pardon my chicken tenders.
50, your mom is so cool. And she's hot. She's my stepmom. Oh, okay, well, your stepmom is really hot. Yeah, she is. Yeah! Oh, yeah. Touchdown!
My boys love their chicken tenders.
Pardon my cheesesteaks, new menu is here. The Big Cat Combo, Chicken Bacon Ranch Cheesesteaks, and Chicken Tenders.
Field Yates was brought to you by Pardon My Cheesesteak, the official cheesesteak of not shitting all over the plane when you're flying from Atlanta to Barcelona. We unleashed a new menu that will have your mouth watering in no time at all. Hold on to your taste receptors. We're introducing the stars of the show, the Chicken Bacon Ranch Cheesesteak, the Irresistible Chicken Tenders, and the Big Cat Combo. Whether you're a cheesesteak aficionado, a finger food enthusiast, or simply someone who values the art of comfort cuisine, this menu has something for everyone. You can get it on pardonmycheesesteak.com. Also available on Uber Eats. Check out the new Pardon My Cheesesteak commercial. Jake stole the show. Great job, Jake.
Team effort.
Great job to the whole team.
Thanks.
It was a great shoot, but
Yes.
Jake dressed up as a woman, because Brandon Walker lied about having COVID. And so Jake admirably raised his hand and said, you know what? I'll step in. I'll do it. Many people are saying you looked hot, Jake. I know you saw some of those comments.
Yeah.
I saw several Woods out there.
Yeah, Mrs. Positions.
Mrs. Positions. There we go.
Thing.
We'll get you a part of my cheesesteak. You can find it at partofmycheesesteak.com, also on Uber Eats.
Okay. End of the show. Max is back. Max, how was your vacation?
Vacation was really nice, necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was
13
it 13
days?
days? Do you think it was
It
necessary?
was not 13 days.
It was how many days? Count the days.
Well, we were
Friday,
working
Saturday,
we were,
Sunday,
well,
Monday,
we were working
Tuesday,
Thursday,
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
You're
11.
counting weekends. Weekends don't count. It was 5 days.
When do the weekends start, Max?
Oh, you missed that debate.
Yeah, no, that was no. I back my guy Hank, and sometimes you just got to let him cook.
Do you think that Hank let you down with his Mount Rushmore performance? Because you guys did lose. The final tally's out. You guys are going to have to spend 24 hours in a box together, in Hank's box, in his sweet, sweet box. Do you think he let you down?
No, I mean, I was sending out picks too. You didn't take.
I
a
let
lot
us
of my
down.
pick.
It was bad. It was a bad end of the summer. But I'm excited to be in the box.
Yeah,
too.
ready to go to the box. I'm really good at all of these bets that we do on this show.
Well, Max is running away with dingers only. I don't know if you guys saw
that's
that.
true.
Congratulations.
That's true.
The one thing that I'm actually good at.
Wait, so Max,
is the one thing I'm gonna win.
Are you mad at Hank? He literally just gave up. He gave up.
Win as a team, lose as a team. We're a team. We're
But
a team,
you
team.
won by yourself, and then you
I know what you're
handed
trying
the
to do
ball-
here.
I'm not. You handed the ball to Hank, and he's like, I don't want to play anymore.
That's not true. That's not true.
That
That's
is
not true.
absolutely true.
The numbers say otherwise.
Blamed being hung
The
over.
Wednesday show. You maybe didn't want to be there anymore, but that's fine.
But you were still alive.
Well, that's because they were gonna.
Yeah.
What?
You were gonna rig it.
You were
I was
mad
gonna
about a
rig it.
pre-rig that we weren't even discussing.
It's
No.
fine. It is what it is. I'm a vacation supporter, enthusiast, whatever you want to call it. There's probably some science, to the fact that we took these vacations at the end of the summer and the team chemistry just wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know what? I think there might be something to the fact that when you don't have the other guy in the studio,
And Billy left.
you don't have the background of a guy having your back immediately. Like, yeah. Good pick,
Although
But it does.
Although, yeah, Max, that's a good point. When Hank was out, you did really well.
Yeah, and it does feel like the Jerome Bettis pick was the start of the decline.
Yeah.
And you were very adamant that that was a good pick.
It was a good pick.
it was a good pick.
It lost you that
Not a
draft.
bad pick.
It
was a good
what,
pick.
what did he win, PFT?
He won Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think he was,
No one cares
He was
about
also-
Jerome Bettis on the Rams.
he was also first team All Pro, Big Cat, as a
old
rookie.
people do.
As a rookie.
Old.
First team All
Old.
Pro. As a they only choose one of those guys.
Yeah, that's true. So it's good to have you back, though, Max. I missed you. I said that
Feels
out
good to be
loud.
back.
I was like,
Feels
I
good to
miss
be
Max. I miss having him around.
I missed you guys.
And the Phillies and Cubs are on a collision course.
I know that would be something.
Yeah.
I don't
That'd
think
be great.
Jerry knows. Jerry thinks Max likes to titty fuck.
That's okay. We
I
just
was
let
gonna
him
say
go.
that. I was
we
gonna
let
say
him
that.
go. Sometimes you gotta let Jerry go. We let him go. It was so fucking funny. Someone said it perfectly. They're like, in the year 2023, Jerry O'Connell did a crank yankers of Max, and it was awesome.
Yeah. I think mostly what it was about was just he was mad at you for making him visualize you
titty fucking, yeah.
But I said I don't
Yeah,
like.
but you still had to talk about like you having a titty fucking session and hating it.
So
which is also gross.
Talk me through that, Max. You're on vacation and you pull up you're not listening to the show and you pull up your Twitter on Friday morning and you're like, what the fuck?
So Friday was our big trip. We went snorkeling. We went
I'd
little
love to
3
see you
islands
snorkeling.
tour. It was nice.
Oh
And
shit!
I get back.
Do they have an extra lifeguard for you?
I don't know what that means.
How
I
burned
don't think
is
you're
your
a
back?
good swimmer.
Is your back super burned?
No, I'm Italian skin.
Yeah.
You
get olive.
Yeah, I get a little olive. Although I was worried. Whatever. But yeah, I get back to look at my phone and I just have 10 texts from like my friends being like, "Oh my god, the titty fucking segment, the titty fuck." I was like, what could how could this possibly be this big of a topic in the fantasy football preview with Jerry? Like that makes no sense to me.
Well, Jerry gave us a great preview for fantasy football. He said Justin Fields and Darren Waller, no matter what. We got neither one of those guys.
Yeah.
So we
just went sideways.
We got
I
all
don't
Bengals.
understand.
We got all Bengals. So
Yeah.
that's good.
We stacked Bengals and I think Jaguars.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, he's the best. We love having Jerry on. But yeah, I did enjoy seeing you tweet that, Max, being like, it's got to suck to be Max on vacation right now.
It's okay.
Like titty fucking.
It's okay.
All right. Anything else? Oh, Jake, did you not want to bring up your wild from over the weekend? Giannis and his brothers.
Oh yeah, he signed with the team, all three of them.
I love that Giannis was like, the Bucks have to do the right thing for me to stay,
Mm-hmm.
and really he meant just sign all my siblings.
The Nuggets should do that.
Yeah,
With Jokic.
yeah,
My fun stat is that we have one more part of my take until NFL football's back.
yes.
That's a fucking awesome stat.
We made it, boys.
Not yet.
Fucking
Not yet.
Yeah, we could.
Not
Yeah,
yet.
Jimmy Buffett.
Yep. You never
We
know.
don't want that to happen. Yeah. Also, Jake, sorry. I know that you had your Yankees big board for free agency,
Oh yeah.
and Julio Urias was your number
No,
one target.
no.
So sorry
Disavow.
about that.
Disavow.
I know you wanted him. You said Domingo Herman and Julio Urias would be great on the staff. You were saying that on Friday.
But you didn't have to say it on the show.
Look at Jake going along with bits. Way to go, Jake.
Turn the corner.
All right, so the lottery ball machine, I don't even know when we're getting it, but I know we're getting the old one shipped to us.
Sweet.
So we will have that back.
Did Clemson score 30 more points?
They lost
not.
28-7.
I mean, that's bad.
It's bad.
That's
I feel
really bad.
like a coward for not taking Duke money line. I hit on that. A little rescue bail me out on Monday night, but should have gone money line.
Yeah, I know. I mean, look at Duke football. Duke football back. Some are saying it's a football school now.
Yeah.
I
think it always was.
Coach K's going to have to come back and save it. All right, numbers. Memes, you ever gotten this?
Nope.
18.
3.
1.
69.
77.
20.
30.
Oh.
Also, last week I forgot to say that it was the third birthday of the lottery machine.
Thank you, Jake. Very cool.
How
the end
could
of
you do that?
August.
How could you do that? You're never going to be able to look
I
him
did
in
it
the
last
face.
year, so yeah, 3 years.
All right. We'll see everyone tomorrow.
Love you guys.